Christian in order to fight the demons.
Right.
Because not the demons are going to jump into your body.
Sure, yeah.
And then anybody can have this idea. Like, anybody can be a demon hunter, as long as you're Christian.
Yeah. This guy says, the thing that's funny is people think that they're aliens, but they're demons. I know because I am hunting them down for like 7 years now. Some people say I might be crazy, but I've been to doctors and they all say the same thing. I am fine.
Jesus.
I love these guys. And then I found this other guy named Russ Dizdar, right? He has his website called shatteredthedarkness.net, right?
Ross Dizdar!
Yeah.
Now, the thing about Russ Dizdar is that he coming
What's
out
the
of
name of the website? I'm sorry, I talked to him.
shatterthedarkness.net.
Oh, okay.
Which means he could not get a .com. He could not afford one. So this is
Definitely
a guy.
not a .edu. We
No.
know
No. So this is a guy whose main tenet of his belief that Satanism and demons are on the rise, which is why there is a larger call for exorcists and why there's so many more exorcisms going on.
Supply and demand? Okay.
Yes.
So it's a good exorcist economy.
And that the first high times of a cult influenced the world was in pre-Nazi Germany.
Oh, okay.
And that the second one was in the awful, evil 1960s in the United States of America.
He's equating the 1960s revolution for freedom and social change with Nazi Germany.
Right? So here's Russ Dizdar's
I don't know if you got
Bible.
two more opposite events in humanism.
Yeah. Here's Russ Dizdar's bio. Coming out of the 60s into the 70s, Russ was a rock and rolling partier, consuming drugs, alcohol, and searching every door to meaning he could. He was a dabbler in dark occultism and a practitioner of golden Buddha meditation. I sought to experience anything spiritual and alternative to find what I was looking for. None of the finite spirits or counterfeit spirituality led me to God. So now you know that originally he was pretending like it was written by someone else, but then he started writing himself, right? It was only when a man so filled with the Spirit of God unleashed on me the love, power, and message of Jesus Christ that I found my answer. When I accepted the living Christ into my life in September 1975, the blinders came off and the presence, power, and love of God came in. Jesus filled my life and changed it forever. It's not a religion, not a set of rules. It's an awesome relationship with God. Knowing
the
God
definition
is not
of a
only
religion.
possible. Yeah. I just love all this. So basically, he wrote this whole website.
I really wish that we knew him when he was the rock and roll demon hunter.
I mean, because then he was actually funny. But the rest of his stuff, right? He has these long, horrible podcasts. Like I was trying to listen to them in the office before, and they just don't make any sense. But please check them out at shatterthedarkness.net and try to decipher them. So I googled his name to kind of like see what else popped up. And all these things popped up of identical bulletins on these other various different random bulletin sites about the paranormal. And this same thing popped up, yes. And I was reading them at first, and it says, Russ Dizdar, demon hunter, is he for real? We're all used to superstitious priests attacking anything they don't understand as being the work of the devil. They usually have no experience or proof or nothing, but this guy is different. He claims that he casts out negative spirits, demons, on a routine basis. Parentheses, exclamation point. Here's a short summary of some of his stuff. How we got to start. He says that after the Spirit of Jesus Christ came into him, he had this ability to see these demons the first time he saw/felt one in his room. Before that, he didn't have this ability. Then, as time progressed, he discovered more.
I think the guy who turned him on to Jesus was also fucking him on a nightly basis.
What I realized by reading this post over and over again, is that he's writing it.
He's creating.
Yes, he's writing it.
He is writing his own post talking about himself?
Yes. Who has the power? New Age versus the Spirit of Jesus Christ. This is a big thing that a lot of these people talk about too, is that it's about false Jesus.
Right.
You find, what demons want to do is that demons will come to you in the form of new age ideas, or Ouija boards or gems. They all talk about these gems filled with demons. And what they do is that they take you for all demons want to do is take you as far away from Jesus as possible.
Right.
And so you create a new Jesus.
Back into that sweet, sweet heroin.
Yeah. He says that psychics who connect with dead relatives actually connect with tricky demons.
Really tricky?
Yes. He has a big problem with psychics. I think he was raped by a psychic.
Well,
or something
we can
happened.
all agree something happened to him sexually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Most passion is born from sexual abuse.
I mean, that's why I'm a comedian.
Absolutely. I'll fuck you funny.
He's a person who's not a believer and knows how the Spirit of Jesus Christ. I'm just
I
like,
feel
I'm
like he's a chubby man.
No, he's really weird looking.
Very interesting. So I guess the whole demon hunting thing, it's becoming super popular.
And again, there's more to and there's also connecting back to that other thing we were talking about with ghost aliens or molested, where it's also like you also have more and more people talking about like, are these alien encounters, are they demon encounters? And it's like, it's it's all just just really desperately trying to not remember being molested.
Yeah. I just love that this guy has all of this paperwork on himself, asking himself questions.
No, because those things are identical in every website that they pop up on, like about him. They're absolutely identical, and then you'll see every once in a while they'll break into first person, just like he did in his bio.
Great. What a champion.
Hey man, he's a good networker.
He is. He's one of the best.
And now let's talk about the best ones.
Yeah,
the Larson sisters.
Yeah, the female demon hunters.
The Larson sisters.
Now, we brought it up on Roundtable once, but I think this is more appropriate now.
Yeah, definitely. I want to know about these gals.
They're
kind of hot.
Yeah,
Do they have a TLC show? Do they share a body?
No.
Is that what we're talking about?
God, that would be fucking awesome.
They are a demon.
Conjoined twin demon hunters?
Woo!
Sign me up. I would watch it in a second.
You can do anything with a conjoined twin.
Oh,
Make them work at Arby's. That's
Have
a show right there.
you ever seen that horrible picture of them sucking dick?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I've got it. We can see it after the show. I got it saved on my
The
computer.
two-headed fucking sisters have a porno out where they're sucking a dick?
Well, it's just a picture of them like sucking a dick, like it's some dude on a recliner, and the one on the right is sucking a dick.
You know when you have two heads that you're pretty good at giving it.
Oh wow! I have to see that picture.
Predictable.
Yeah. God, I had no idea they have a pic. I gotta see it. Okay, I can't wait.
Yeah. All right. Well, this report that we're about to listen to a little bit of, it's from ABC News, and it's these three girls, the Larson sisters, who are all. They say that they're demon hunters, and they're trained by their father. The father is going to talk on this a little bit.
Yeah, Reverend Bob Larson.
Yeah, but we're going to start a little bit into it. All right, here we go.
What do you say to people who just don't believe this stuff at all?
They should come and watch what we do.
Who told you to come? Satan!
After seeing actual exorcism
Indisputable proof.
by us, you will walk away with no doubts whatsoever.
We're all down.
There is a war going on every day being waged against us. Satan hates us, but we know where the enemy is. We know what he's attacking, and we can fight back.
Get your hands off me, you filth.
Their teacher is Bryn's father, Bob Larson, who says he's performed over 15,000 exorcisms.
Whoa!
And claims demons are much more common than many people think.
I know it sounds controversial, but maybe half the population.
Half?
What? What?
Yes.
So it's possible that I could have a demon as I may not know.
Yes.
Before every exorcism, Larson and the girls do a briefing here at the office they use in Phoenix, Arizona.
Remember, you're exorcists, so we gotta get those demons.
And then it begins.
What is your name? Answer us.
This woman's name is Gina. It's her first exorcism. The girls, armed with crosses, Bibles, and holy water, summon the demon within her, and then the demon apparently takes over Gina's body and speaks.
I renounce my right.
How do you actually know whether somebody is demonically possessed?
Usually when you look in their eyes and the demon's up, you can see that evil staring back at you.
Who are you?
As the girls explain it, there are many different types of demons.
There's hate, murder, anger. All of those are very violent demons.
Look at what happens at the climax of Gina's exorcism. It takes 4 men to hold her back. This can be dangerous work.
The Christian life is risky. Taking on the devil is risky. What's riskier?
This is a big old fat heifer of a woman, by the way.
Yeah, she was pretty fucking big. She's rolling around like a fucking elk in a like fighting an alligator.
In many ways, quite normal and likable.
They're not very
By the way, all of the people that are possessed, either middle-aged white women or gay teenagers.
But they also don't cut to her like later on and being like, she's like, I've been to 9 exorcists. Like that one woman that, like this short woman with the short blonde hair is like, I have been to lots of them, and I know for a fact that I have a demon inside of me. It talks to me. It talks to me. It's just like,
Yeah, because you're schizophrenic.
They're not schizophrenic. These are people desperate for attention.
Right.
So desperate in need of like someone coming and paying attention to them and acting like it's like, you know how many times you ever been on the train? Like it happened to me yesterday. I was on the train yesterday, and you just some dude sitting there going, "Man, some people."
Yeah.
He's just sitting. It's like, God damn. Some people, man, and like staring at
He's
you, like
possessed.
making eye contact at you, just being like,
Yeah.
people, man.
You gotta get the demon out of that guy, Henry.
Yeah,
Next time
no,
you
but
see
these
him,
are just like
do not be scared.
just
I'm a demon hunter.
Yeah, it's like I am a demon hunter, and then he's like, suck your dick.
Interesting.
Unpredictable. But no, it's.
The need
And
for
they,
human
but you
contact,
also didn't get
yeah.
to the point about how much she paid to do that. She paid like $550 to get that.
No
exorcism
shit.
done. Yeah.
To get that
and then
out.
and then they just like that's what he said. He's like, so how much per session do they charge? She's like, well, $500-something. It's worth it. And then it cuts to him going like, some people definitely need more than one exorcism treatment. More than one exorcism
Right.
treatment is not going to get rid of the ghost. So
It's a
they
great
have to come back
business
3 or
plan.
4 times. Yeah.
It's a great business plan. You make
It's
up
like being a
disease for
crack
somebody.
dealer. You're a crack
Right.
dealer.
Right. And
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. They probably just go there. It's fun counsel. And if you are believed to have a demon inside of you, demons get respect. And it's probably the most respect they get in their entire life is when people are treating them with a calm voice and treating them as if they have some power.
I also think that if part of me does truly believe in the idea of the dark elemental side of life, and that your own personal will can change reality, like what we talk about with the power of Satan himself, our Lord and Master, and how
Hail Satan?
that using Hail Satan, and that if you use ritual behavior and symbols that are important to humans since the beginning of time, right? That either come from our alien forefathers or are just a part of like a sort of collective unconscious that exists in the entire universe, blah, blah, blah. I believe in all that. But a 55-year-old woman is just not going to get possessed by a demon, and a 17-year-old set of hot triplets are not going to get it out of her.
No.
They're not going to come in there, because that's the big thing, is like shows the beginning of them, they're like trained in karate, and they're doing all this stuff, and then also the very end of that clip, it's just like, and they're recently in talks for their new reality television show, blah, 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 and it's just like, that's all it's for.
Of course, yeah. That's great. I'm going to watch it. That
Yeah.
sounds really great.
The whole storyline of the reality television show is also built into the thing. They get the case. They have they have their powwow at their headquarters. They go, and then it's just like, oh, this is a lot more difficult than we thought it was. Then they confer with Papa, and he tells them of an old story of when the last time he did an exorcism, and then they go back and they get rid of it every time.
I love it. Well, that just sounds like some really good reality television programs. Fuck
It
Honey
does.
Boo Boo. I want to see these goddamn demons get cast out of fat chicks.
And by the way, I got that video from a website called it's called On Knees for Jesus.
On Knees for Jesus.
And here's
That's
what
an unfortunate title.
Oh yeah, and especially because the graphic that they use is obscured in such a way. It's a little boy on his knees with his face in Jesus's lap.
Of course, they
It looks
love
like
that.
it looks like he's given a blowy.
Which is a way to get a demon out, you know?
It's pretty.
Well, if you want to be
obvious.
close to the man himself, then they say the fastest way to a man's heart is by sucking his penis.
I've heard that. I've actually heard that.
Here's what this woman. She has a plea. It says, "Don't let Satan win with his financial attacks on me. I put in a lot of time to run this blog, so any extra change would be really helpful for me. You can donate safely via PayPal. Anything you do really helps me in my current situation."
Come on. God
God, I
doesn't use
wish a fucking
PayPal.
demon was real. I want a real demon to show up and fucking murder these people.
It would be great.
Can you imagine? Just think about it. They're the 55-year-old woman. It's like that horror movie scenario. And they all show up all plucky and stuff
Right.
with the reality crew. Just like, we're going to get rid of this demon. And the old lady's just sitting there, like, breathing, like, calmly. Just, and then just like, we cast you out, demon. And she's like, yeah! And head rips back. And they're like, fucking skin splits. A fucking giant, like, shiny, like, onyx.
Right.
It's like massive, like
Shimmering.
undescribable evil fucking tornado comes out of it, and it looks at them, and they're like, ah! And then it's just you watch their fucking intestines shoot out of their tits, right? Like,
Ooh, this is getting
like
erotic.
shoot out of their tits, like, it's like, like blood everywhere,
Yeah.
and it just like you see them like slowly burn from the inside, like,
See, I was thinking they were gonna fall
Yeah,
in
they
love.
just cut to the priest, and he's just like, I'm gonna need a bigger cross.
Yikes!
See, I was thinking they were all gonna fall in love and be in some sort of like trans-species.
No!
Like
If they suck the demon's dick,
like
maybe
polygamous-
they
Yeah,
fall in love.
if you promise to worship the demon, no.
incestuous type thing where everyone gets all
Well,
No,
sexy
the only person who knew how
together.
to properly make a relationship with a demon was Barack Obama, and now he's president. We see that.
By the way, I have found out that Barack Obama is possessed by homosexual demons.
I've heard this. I've
oh,
heard this
I
as
didn't
well.
know that.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's turning children gay.
Him and John Travolta.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
wow.
very
I believe
true.
about Travolta. Anything else here in your papers and your documents?
Well, I just wanted to do Oh, we don't have the
What are we looking for here?
summoning spell. In this
I have
one.
the summoning spell
Oh,
right
let's
here.
get a summoning spell. Now,
Let's, are we close to ending?
Yes.
let's give it a summoning spell, and hopefully...
We should probably close that out and trying to summon one of our favorite demons.
Yeah.
Definitely. And what is our
Probably
favorite demon?
Osmodeus.
We want Osmodeus over here.
Yeah, Osmodeus. Yes.
Osmodeus.
Osmodeus. Do you want
What
to?
do you need beforehand?
Let's see here.
We have to
What we
light
need.
the liver of a dead fish. Something like
Hail Satan, I wish you well. Please take care of me. You are so swell, dearest Satan. How I love you,
I like this song.
Satan.
See, we need incense, a black candle.
that. I got that
Blue
right here.
is also fine.
Got it.
And a paper containing our demon sigil.
Got it.
What does it look like?
I don't know. You just kind of have to.
Man, we didn't do this right.
No, we didn't nail it, but I got everything you just said.
Yeah.
I'm lighting the incense now. Get this candle going.
It's
We're
feeling
also-
spooky kooky in here.
Oh, wow.
Do
Give
you
me
wanna-
something
and then maybe
unpredictable.
we'll put some evil music on underneath this. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I got something. All right. Here's the prayer.
All right.
Lord Satan,
Lord Satan.
by your grace, grant me, I pray thee, the power to conceive in my mind and to execute that which I desire to do, the end which I would attain by thy help. Almighty Satan,
Almighty Satan.
the one true God who livest and reignest forever and ever, I entreat thee to inspire Asmodeus to manifest before me, that he may give me true and faithful answer, so that I may accomplish my desired end, provided that it is proper to his office. This I respectfully and humbly ask in your name, Lord Satan!
Lord Satan. Thank you, Lord Satan.
May you deem me worthy, Father.
Yeah, dude, and that came from
Cool.
that was
Is he
actually
here?
that was a part of I think that was a part of an official demon invoking ceremony that you can read that and that
Hey,
could
boys.
work.
Yeah, and you can find that at angelfire.com/empire/serpentis666/demonolatry.
You know what's really
dot
weird
HTML.
is that I do trust it coming from an Angel Fire website only because
you have to trust it.
like it's from back when the internet was truly pure. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, there was no misinformation back then.
I love it. Well, I think that's great. We got a demon here in the room, and I feel very nervous.
I feel nothing. I don't feel the demon. We didn't do it right.
No, we needed we also needed like a mirror.
We need lots
I need a
of shit.
mirror.
Yeah.
I would, yeah, because it's like we got to really do it though at some point. I want to invoke
Yeah.
a demon. I want to meet one.
I know. I feel like we could have faked it, but then that wouldn't be real.
No.
Oh, wow, Asmodeus is actually one of the main ones. Asmodeus told Solomon, "So ask me not many things, for thy kingdom also after a little time is to be disrupted, and thy glory is but for a season, and short will be thy tyranny over us."
Ooh.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I like this.
Demons are immortal. A season is but a few thousand years to them. The Christian God is losing power. Father Satan has informed me that our side has won. We warn everyone, using the spiritually abusive methods of the old Grim Wars is not only foolish, but will inevitably result in personal disaster. The demons must always be approached with extreme honesty and respect.
Ooh.
The days of using enemy God names, 9-foot circles, threats, and other destructive and abusive methods are over. Don't say you weren't warned.
Ooh, interesting. All
No,
right.
I would respect a demon.
Well, you have no choice.
I
Yeah.
just hate how the more serious we have to get into Satanism, the more we sound like idiots from like Dungeons and Dragons land.
Yeah.
Where I just wish we need to make. That's why we're gonna bring Satanism to the common man.
Yeah.
To now, to modern times.
To these days.
I think that's wonderful. They're
Yeah.
going to love it.
They are gonna love it.
Yeah, 'cause
it's
I
gonna
don't
be very funny and it's gonna be very fun and there's gonna be good music and there's gonna be good food and everyone's gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
Was that you sung a song earlier? Was that a sample of the future music?
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
a
no,
lot
no.
of-
There'll be more guitars and
Oh, okay.
tambourine.
Yeah,
Lots of tambourine.
yeah.
Because tambourine scares angels.
I think this is how Charles Manson got those chicks to murder for him.
Get out here, angel. Don't come back,
Yeah.
Miss Angel. Don't want
All
you,
right, well,
angel.
that's
Don't
last
you come
podcast.
back. Come
That's
on back to
Marcus,
the
and that's
devil.
Baz, and
Get out,
Rocky.
angel. Get out, angel. Don't you be in my house now.
I like this
Get out,
song.
angel. Get out, angel. Come on, angel. Be afraid I'm a tambourine.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
That was
Satan.
great.
All right.
Convert.
And this is the moment that a movement was born.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left. That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
My body is just making large chunks of brown, green
Oh, good.
fucking soup and then it's shooting out of every hole in my body at this
Take
point
it
in time.
easy.
My butt's making hot brown. My fucking face is making cold green.
Yeah, God. It
This
did
is
sound
really
cold.
bad. Oh my god, I took such a hot shit this morning.
Really?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Did it all get in the toilet, or did you sprinkle some on top with a nice
No,
ice cream dessert?
no. No.
That was my dad moment. I was just about to strangle both of you. That's wonderful. Are we all recording and ready to go?
Yeah, I just wish my body could expel the poison in me.
All right, that's Marcus. I'm Ben. With us as always. Look at you. Jesus
last
Christ.
legs, Henry Zabrowski.
You feel like you're on him, huh?
Yeah, if you got something to say to me that you were afraid to say before, just do it now because I got about a month left. So, yeah, just put it in there. Anything you got to just, anything you
I've
gotta
always
get me
loved
to
you,
do.
Henry.
Don't do this, not
I've
from you.
always. Isn't that fruit jerky?
Yeah, they're a lesser fruit.
Oh, I see. Even though they're covered in chocolate?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Which was it's just the California raisin.
Yeah, you're just thinking of California. Get chocolate out of your brain.
I just consider any raisin to be a raisinette. I call raisins pre-raisinettes.
That's a good thing to call them. That's very nice. Every raisin definitely, what do they say? Wants to be a raisinette. They all, they all
They
want,
want to be picked.
it would be sad if you were just a little raisin. And then, well, first of all, you started as a tasty grape, and everyone loves a grape.
Oh, yeah.
Then you're just a little
Absolutely. You got
schlubby raisin, and then
you
you
got
don't even get covered in chocolate.
some toddlers like wet fingers all over you.
Ugh,
You know what I mean? And I don't need that outside of when I'm paying for it, if you know what I'm saying.
I totally agree. And you know that kid's crying because no happy baby eats raisins. They need chips.
I had to go to the hospital once because I took a raisin and I shoved it so far up into my sinus cavity they had to suck it out with a vacuum.
Is that right?
Yep.
Well, that's a bad.
So I'm mad at him still.
Good. I think you have every right to be upset with the raisin that tried to assassinate you.
I know. It's like I'm Biggie Smalls.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, speaking of assassinations and overall things that will kill, today we're going to explore the dark world of internet fetish websites. And we came up with this idea after reading a story. It's been going on here in New York City.
This is like Ben's favorite story on the face of the planet right now. It's pretty fucking awesome.
It's a captivating story about a former New York City police officer named Gilberto Valle, who...
Which is a fantastic name.
Yes.
It sounds like a guy who's selling Mexican beer.
It does. It really does. And he conspired to murder and cook and then eat his wife with a couple of co-conspirators on a website called darkfetish.com.
No, Dark Fetish Net.
Darkfetishnet. Is it darkfetishnet.com?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was with Chef Boyardee 6ix9ine and another guy named Ravioli Doctor.
Yeah, meat hands, meat man. And
You gotta take it, and we put it in Italian. We call it raviolini. Oh, it's so good.
I mean,
and we can them and we sell them to the poor.
I would eat that. Human meat inside of a nice ravioli. I think that's a fine way to present a tasty person.
I was looking online. Speaking of dark things on the internet, I ended up on the WTF board on Reddit, and they had this vivisection of a human leg, looking at a sample of leg cancer. God, it looked delicious.
And those were the sorts of things that Gilbert Valet would like jack off to, and exactly like Henry said, want to eat. And
yum.
So he is on trial for conspiring to kill his wife Kathleen Mangan. And
this is also pre-taco Henry. I haven't had my fucking tacos today. I went and had a salmon sandwich.
Salmon sandwich?
So I'm already getting hungry just talking about this.
I have never. Salmon doesn't belong on a sandwich.
It's horrible.
It does when you're in Beverly Hills, 90210.
Oh, please, Henry. It's changed you.
Take it easy. Woo! Sunglasses on.
Valet also wanted to kill his college sweetheart, Kimberly Sawyer. So basically, what separates this from other people who jack off to certain things on the websites was he was really hands-on. He bought the ropes. He was really very, very close to doing it. And the email exchanges between him and some co-conspirators, one fellow in Pakistan known as Moody Blues, were very detailed. And they
Does
seem.
anyone talk with the remaining members of Moody Blues and see how they feel about this?
They're not supportive of the name. They're not totally behind it. But the email exchanges and the chat exchanges were so serious and were seemingly coming to real life that he was arrested and things like that. So now he's on
Well, it's
trial,
kind of like
and it's quite hot.
it's like Jordan, right? When Jordan was a little kid, yeah, a lot of kids talked a big game about playing basketball in the NBA. All right, all of them were just like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm gonna be drafted #1."
Yep.
Michael Jordan sat there and he was like, "No, but you know what? I am gonna be drafted #1." And so he went and he contacted his Pakistani friend Moody Blues on the internet and campaign that got him to be 6'. 6', Michael Jordan.
6', Michael, although not drafted #1.
Really?
He was #3.
Yeah.
Well, that is a disappointment.
But some of the email exchanges between Valet and this one fella, this was called Gingerbread Witch Tactics, and yeah, it's pretty great. Co-conspirator one.
Can you read that? Yeah,
I'll read it. He says, co-conspirator one. It's really hard to dislocate a jaw. Also, how would we put her over the fire? Spitting kills girls. You know, like putting a spit through her. Have to put her into a cage? What's your favorite cut of meat? And then Valet says, I was thinking of tying her body onto some sort of apparatus, cook her over a low heat, keep her alive as long as possible. Which, I mean, these guys really get a show on the Cooking Network already.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. It's all a part of the slow food revolution going on in the culinary arts. Right?
There's nothing more organic than a friend. You know?
No, talk about locavore.
Indeed.
He's right next to me.
He's eating right out of his house. I mean, it's his wife, but that's kind of nice.
God, I'm hungry.
Well, let me stop you right there for a second. Give you a little bit of insight into what kind of people hang out on darkfetishnet.com.
Now, this is the thing. So he just went on forums and started just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Right. He just writing. I'm thinking about killing and eating my wife. And everyone was just like, me too.
Pardon the pun, but I do think it was a slow burn. Because he started off and he just sort of looked, and I feel like what happened with this guy is what happens with a lot of people on the internet. He got yes-anded into this situation. He probably just started off with like, hey, I love to eat pussy.
Yeah.
This is the problem with these fucking improv people.
Right.
Is that as soon as they get involved in any place, it's all sorts of shenanigans.
They just take it to the dark spot. Marcus, who's looking at these websites?
I am looking at the profile of a man who calls himself Dave Hung Like a Horse Porter.
Smallest dick on the internet.
No. I am looking at an actual picture of Dave hung like a horse right now. He is 57 years old. Would you like
I'm looking him up.
No, Henry, I'm going to send you a picture of him right now. Let's see
And
here.
so you feel like, judging by this picture, he is truly hung like a horse?
My God. I'm gonna show you right quick,
All
Ben.
right, here, let me see this.
It just makes me think of the 9 Inch Nails songs. Like,
I didn't realize when Marcus said there was a picture of him that he was fully naked, and you got to see his huge horse cock. Indeed, hung like a horse.
Yeah. I'm sending it to you right now. Henry Zabrowski.
And so, what's horse cock's MO?
Yeah,
All right. Well, let me tell you about this guy. He's 57 years old. He's here in the. By the way, his username is One Finway Fan.
Oh, okay.
He's a Red Sox fan, of course.
Yeah, it says.
Whoa, look at that trunk.
Yeah, it says.
What's this guy doing? You give him an apple.
Henry, get closer to the computer. I can't hear you.
Oh my good lord! It looks like it's like a brown. It's like a stick.
Yeah, and he's clean
tree
shorn
branch.
too.
First three words that come into your head, Henry, looking at that sweet, sweet dong.
The giving tree.
All right, here's his bio. Hi, my name is Dave, and I am 56 and married.
Can I read it? Do you mind if I read it
Yeah,
real
go
quick?
ahead. I wanted to read it, but you.
Oh no! All right.
No, go ahead.
Hey, my name's Dave. I'm 56 and married. I'm into just about anything. I love women. My favorite fetish is beheading. I love to talk to women about chopping up the head. I like to jerk off in front of women. I have a pretty large cock. My wife told me when she's all fucked out and no good anymore, I could chop off her head behind the woodshed. I can't wait.
Favorite quote: "Put your fucking neck on the block, bitch."
Oh, okay.
And I think that was from the second Winnie the Pooh book.
Henry, read his main fetish interest is decapitation. Read his other fetish interests.
Other fetish interests.
Hanging by the neck. Anal insertions. Fucking a bitch after her head's chopped off. Tied up. Watching someone fuck my wife.
That last one's all in caps.
Oh, okay. All right.
And what I would like to do with someone offline,
I really
Henry.
should have opened this up in an incognito window. I didn't realize what I was doing.
Yeah, it might be very illegal soon. Which is something that we can discuss with this valet trial. I mean,
Yeah.
if he is convicted of conspiracy to commit murder, it might have a chilling effect on these dark fetish websites.
He really does have such a pretty smile, though. That's the thing. That
valet.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Here's another text, a nice exchange from him. This one's called 75 Pounds of Tasty Lady. Valet writes, I love that she's asleep right now, not having the slightest clue of what we have planned. Her days are numbered. I'm glad you're on board. She does look tasty, doesn't she? Co-conspirator 1. You don't know.
So wait, this was like the old AOL chat rooms where they just share pictures back and forth and shit like that?
I guess so.
I think this is message boards. Like, you can go to dark. Yeah, just check out the message boards on Dark Fetish Net.
Yeah, and then
I'm going to yes. Yeah.
Co-conspirator 1 says, "You do know if we don't waste any of her, this is nearly 75 pounds of food there." Which, I mean, that's a good amount of food from one person.
Yeah,
it's a
but
nice haul.
They're not talking about the bones and shit like that. You can't eat the bones. You
No,
can
I know,
boil
they're
them in soup and stuff like that.
They're talking straight meat. I think they're going, post-cook. They're thinking 75 pounds of pure, succulent human meat coming off of this dude's wife.
Again, yes, this all starts as storytelling. When does it move into the actual, the movement, the actual wanting to do it?
Well, with Valet, when he did end up going and meeting that college girl that he was thinking about killing. So that was a very, personal thing. And then he talks about it, they were eating dinner and or out for lunch or something, and he talks about it in a chat room with his co-conspirators about how he was staring at her lips, about how she looked so unbelievably tasty.
And she voluntarily met with him
She did because they didn't know that. No. She has no idea that he wants to eat her. That's just not something you bring up on a 4th or 5th date.
That's on his OkCupid profile.
It's funny you mention OkCupid. That's actually where he met his wife.
Wow.
They met a year ago on OkCupid. He immediately knocked her up. And so you get the feeling that he was relatively upset to be in this marriage to begin with. And he wanted to take it out on her by eating every inch of her body.
Wow, this is another profile on darkfetish.net. Natalia Gusevas, she is volunteering to be who I am, mature Russian sow for breeding and slaughtering for meat.
Okay.
My main fetish, me at industrial slaughterhouse and at meat market.
And that gets into what Marcus researched today, a little thing called VORE. VORE. I have never heard about this before. Marcus, what is VORE?
Well, VORE is short for vorophilia.
Okay.
It's a paraphilia where arousal occurs from the idea of someone or something eating or being eaten by someone or something. It is thus distinguishable from cannibalism, the actual act of human eating human flesh, as there are no bounds on the species of either party in vorophilia. And in fact, what vorophilia usually is, the most common one that I found was snake-eating woman.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and I found this thing on, I found this site called VorTube, which is mostly, it's bad. It's real bad. And they have videos. Most of these things are pictures, the Vor. It's a lot of pictures of women being eaten. It's a lot of like Rule 34 shit. Like, I found a particularly disturbing Sonic the Hedgehog one.
Was it because it messed with your childhood?
No, fuck my childhood. I hate it when people say that bullshit. It's like, oh, it ruined my childhood. It's like, what? Grow up, you fucking idiot.
All
right. So, this is an audio clip that someone made and uploaded to this site. All right, check this out. This one is called I Have Thought About.
I've thought about it a lot. I want you and your friends to cook me and eat me. First, take off all my clothes. You should stretch me out and fuck me, then fuck me again. At some point I will tell you to do me. Consider that a point of no return. No matter what I say after that, don't let me go. I want you and your friends to do your worst. By the morning, there should be nothing left of me but bones.
What do you think about that?
I had no idea that Mavis Beacon was such a pervert. That's amazing. And by the way, I haven't thought about Mavis Beacon in forever.
I haven't either.
You put some ambient music under that and a beat, you got a Radiohead song. Here we go. So look at this. I just found a forum of vor and what they call gynophagia.
What's gynophagia?
Gynophagia is exactly what they're talking about, which is, incest mixed with cannibalism, mixed with rape, mixed with bondage. So a whole
real stew of everything wrong.
Yeah.
And apparently there is a fan fiction website of this type of stuff, and I just found a story here that I would like to read.
I've got one as well.
All right.
Called How I Ate My Grandmother.
What's your story all about, Timmy? Thanks for bringing it to class today.
I always loved my grandma. She used to be simply great, and she loved to play with me and my siblings and my cousins. She used to be a great cook, and she always had an answer to our question. Then disaster struck. She was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, a cruel disease. Really, it doesn't kill fast, but slowly destroys the human brain. First, Grandma forgot things. Then she started to forget us. Over time, all her family members became strangers, and they got worse over time. However, physically, she was fit for a lady in her 80s. She was doomed to die slowly, losing her mind, being trapped by this horrible disease. For a couple of years, things got worse. Granny was slowly dying in the hospital, losing her mind, losing herself. I did always think of Granny. I had to end this. I was working on a secret project, a machine to turn back time. But I give back her youth to Grandma. I work like if I was possessed by a demon. And I found a solution, a machine to turn back time, to make her young again. The result never was stable. Rats I rejuvenated got younger, but only for 24 hours. Then they aged quickly and died a horrible death. I wasn't able to solve the problem while Grandma's health declined. Then I thought about cannibalism. When we were kids, Grandma used to play cannibal games with us.
What?
She was a witch like in Hansel and Gretel. And
Bizarre leap, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, this is fiction.
Yeah.
All right, so I met Granny in the hospital. She didn't recognize me. She was 84 right now. Her body was healthy, but her mind wasn't. It was horrible to see a person you love in that state of mind. I had to wait for days, many days. Finally, she was back. For a moment, Grandma's mind was clear. "Help me, please, Jonathan," she said. "Yes, Grandma, I will help you. I have found a way to end this," I said, and told her about my plan. At first, she didn't believe me, but then she agreed. Just minutes later, her mind was blocked again. She looked at later on. She met me in a nearby forest, and we drove to the laboratory. She looked at my machine in disbelief. There was a humming sound and some blinking lights. She entered the machine and I went to my computer to activate it. There was a humming sound. After 50 minutes, the process was finished. I opened the door and inside a young woman in her 20s with long red hair, smooth white skin, nice medium-sized breasts, and wonderful green eyes. Grandma's
Still
a young
your grandmother.
Jonathan, you did it. I'm young again, she said. "You're looking absolutely stunning, Grandma," I replied. "Well, we have some time left until you need to be prepared and cooked." She stopped me. "Jonathan, let's have sex for one last time." What?
One last time.
Grandma, please don't. But she was my grandma, but yet also a stunningly beautiful young woman. And please don't call me Grandma. My name is Emily. She quickly undressed herself, removed those old lady clothes, and I didn't undress myself. Then we had sex, and I must say it was the best sex I ever had. We both explored our young bodies. We both touched and licked each other's bodies for more than 2 hours.
Henry,
Oh,
don't say words like that anymore.
I'm
I'm
just
just
trying
happy to know what Stephen Urkel's up to.
Here we go. Wait, one last bit. All right, okay, this is fucking horrible.
Yeah, go there.
So we let it, I guess, after she was clean, we went to the kitchen. In a few hours, the guests would arrive, so I checked the oven one last time. By that time, the doorbell rang. It was my sister Judy and her boyfriend. Both of them agreed to help me preparing Grandma Emily and followed me to the kitchen. We oiled Emily's beautiful body and made some stuffing we stuffed in her ass and her pussy. Grandma liked it, especially when her young pussy was stuffed. Finally, I shoved a potato up her pussy and a carrot of her ass. Grandma Emily had to laugh when I took a mirror to show her oiled and stuffed body. I'm looking like a turkey, Jonathan. We put her on a plate, put some more vegetables on this plate, and shove her in the oven. We didn't want to torture Grandma, so we slowly raised the heat, step by step. She would feel no pain and fall asleep at some point of the cooking process. I don't think that's right.
No, that's not how it works.
I mean, then they just say they loved her and they ate her, and then, yeah, Grandma, you were delicious. In love, Jonathan. The end.
Obviously, Jonathan here is writing a piece of fiction.
Right.
And his grandmother doesn't actually think that that she's going to be cooked. But can we go back to Valet just real quick?
Real quick.
Please,
and
please
then,
do. No,
yeah. And then I want to read one called Mommy's New Diet.
Okay, well, we can just read Mommy's New Diet. I was just going to say that...
No, I want to hear more about Valet.
Yeah. Let's go more back to Valet.
Well, the one major difference between that story and the Valet story is his wife truly believed that she was going to be eaten and murdered.
Yeah.
Well, she was on the witness when she was on the witness stand, they asked her, like, so what was he going to do to you? And she was like, I was going to be tied to a bed with my feet, and my throat was going to be slit, and blood was going to gush out of me. And
Does she understand that it's satire? We're playing characters.
Right. But this is where sort of Valet takes it to the other level. In a chat conversation, they're talking about how she's going to kick and scream and how she's going to beg for mercy. And
that's just giving her lighting ratings. You know what I mean? You don't know how she's going to be.
That's true. You can't predict. What if she absolutely loved it? And then, his co-conspirator was like, don't listen to her, don't give her mercy. And then he responded with, it's okay, we'll just gag her. And so it was much more malicious than that unbelievably, mildly romantic story about Jonathan and his grandmother.
Yeah.
Well, was she just mad that it wasn't romantic? Would she have been fine with it if he was just like, and I will lay flower petals down up on the plate right before we cut her tits off?
I mean,
clinical.
Women would definitely prefer a little more romance. So yeah, he might have been able to salvage the relationship had he had slightly more flower petals around.
And this is important for all boyfriends out there. You can't just deliver something straight edge to your woman. You know what I mean? You gotta gussy it up. You gotta really start thinking about what they want, how they want to be murdered.
Yes, that's right, Henry.
All right,
Marcus, please.
Mommy's New Diet. This is written by Dancing Queen 6281.
Okay.
And I'm going to skip a lot of the exposition in the story.
I'm sorry, yeah, I should have read it fully, skipped mine as well, but I just, it's fun to get the full feeling.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
When you say Dancing Queen, I just imagine someone who looks exactly like Dan St. Germain.
Yeah, Dan St. Germain, a very successful stand-up comedian. I also imagine somebody who often tucks his penis between his legs and he looks in the mirror. And then he prances more than dances.
Well, how the story starts off, a lot of the paragraphs, it's explaining Mommy's sleepwalking problem.
Okay.
And Mommy is having a dream about going to a luau in which a suckling pig is being cooked. And Mommy has a toddler, a very young son, that is asleep. And a lot of times, Mommy sleepwalks and comes and sleeps next to him. So it was no big deal that Mommy came in sleepwalking one day and started to stroke his face. So we're gonna start with Mommy at the luau.
This is involving a toddler? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
How many horrible stories I know that start at a luau? I can't even count.
Yeah.
It's the poi.
It's the what?
It's the horrible poi that we're forced to eat.
Oh my God.
Sounds better than a salmon sandwich.
It's true.
All right. At the luau, all eyes were on Meredith as she was pulling the perfectly roasted body of the suckling pig closer and closer to her. She was too hungry to bother with etiquette or manners. She was going to devour this juicy delicacy whole. She started to stretch her mouth open, wider than she ever had before. "Mommy," muttered Branny, nervously as his mother's mouth opened into a gaping chasm before his very eyes. "What are you—" The question was cut short as Meredith shoved her son's head completely into her open mouth.
Oh my.
Her lips wrapped around his young neck, and her tongue slathered his face. Branny squirmed and whined, confused and frightened. The suckling pig tasted better than anything else that Meredith had ever had in her life. She wanted to savor it, but the demanding growls of her stomach would not let her delay. She knew she had to get this massive meal down and into her deprived belly as quickly as she could to satisfy her crippling hunger.
I'm so hungry.
Meredith grabbed the cotton-clad shoulders of her son and shoved them into her mouth while she simultaneously took a loud gulping swallow. The boy's head was jammed down her throat, and his frightened cries were muffled by the tight passage in which he found himself. Branny started to struggle harder, trying desperately to pull himself out of his mother's mouth. Meredith couldn't believe how glorious this meal was, but she knew she had to hurry. Other dinners at the luau had grabbed the legs of the pig and were trying to pull it back out of her mouth. They wanted to deprive her of this food that she so desperately needed, but she wasn't going to let them. With a rather violent jerk, Meredith threw her head back as she took another loud gulp. This swallow sucked down her son's chest and stomach, and now his pajama-covered legs were sticking up in the air out of her mouth and kicking violently. He screamed and cried, but all that could be heard from outside were a few muffled whines, barely audible as his head was now about to enter his mother's stomach, and so on and so forth.
Okay, all right. It's sort of a Jonah and the whale situation.
Yeah, that's about halfway through the story. It keeps it goes on and on, and I skipped a lot in the beginning. That's just that's the meat of the story in the beginning.
Yeah,
but that's
to
what they
use a
cover,
phrase.
But that's what they're really into. They're into this idea of like consuming the entire body. This is like one of these versions of this this vor type cannibalism stuff that you could see how. I mean, I have no idea why people enjoy it, but
it
you
makes
could
a
also.
lot of sense, though.
Yeah.
It's relatively common with a lot of serial killers. You know, you have your Jeffrey Dahmer obviously being the most famous, but a lot of serial killers would take memorabilia and things like that to remember their victim. And what's more memorable than when you eat their arm? You know, when you actually eat their flesh. I mean, I think that's the whole point.
But this is a whole different thing, though. Like, this isn't actually eating people. Like, this is like eating someone as a snake, or a snake eating someone. Like, one of the most.
So you fantasize being the predator.
Yes,
This is
exactly.
super fantasy. That's that's a fantastical thing.
Yeah.
But then some of this stuff on this darkfetish.net, it's just like I just really wonder where is the difference between a guy like Valet and you know someone who just likes to write about this shit?
Well, I think the difference, there's another story with Valet. He was talking to a fellow named Throat Slitter, and Throat Slitter sent him a video of a goat having its throat slit, and so it was really taking a serious turn when Valet, he wanted his wife after she had the baby. He really wanted his wife to go running, and so he would map out her route for her. And then he would always choose, first of all, he suggested that she go running at night, which no loving husband does. That's absolutely, hey, honey, go run at night, you know, when you're the most possible, when it's the best possibility for you to get raped.
Yeah, you're about to go to sleep. Why don't you put your shoes and go for a little run? That'd be great, yeah.
Yeah, it's pitch black out there, very scary. He also only wanted her to run on roads without streetlights. So there, and this is true. So it was taking these sort of like real life, it was taking a real life angle to it that I think obviously, if you're pretending to be a snake, and you actually see that in real life, that's just shenanigans. Yeah. That's just somebody crawling on their stomach, chomping their mouth at you, and it's really not that terrifying.
And let me read you let's do a comparison. All right, we read the profile on Dark Fetish Net, Dark Fetish Net, that fucked up. I'm gonna read you a profile from the Vor site. Okay, from the site about eating snakes and all that. I got accepted to Oklahoma University Pharmacy School.
Oh, that's amazing.
What that means for me, my life is finally pointed in a direction for once, finally on the road to getting a big boy job. What that means for you, I only have to make C's in all my classes, meaning I don't have to study as much, meaning more time for drawing.
Oh, that's nice.
It's much more fantasy.
Let me read you another darkfetish.net person profile on
let's
on
hear
this
about
guy. Ms. Morbidly Obese Z. Who I am, a single diabetic mom and soon-to-be grandmother, just found out. Morbidly obese at 435, and I know my life expectancy is low. I have had a dark daydream since my preteens. I don't place blame on anyone for my feelings. At times I escape to DFN to indulge my dark side as it helps me cope with my real-life challenges. My main fetish, big game hunting of yours truly. At 435, I qualify for those hunters who enjoy bagging a super obese female beast. Human or animal hybrid that the scientists of the future put together to give hunters a new thrill. Good for both trophies and meat, the hunting preserves of the USA and UK stock their private lands with Hugh sows and Hugh cows. I enjoy riding Hugh sows and Hugh cows.
Wow.
I'm always the victim and never the predator. Love playing a very large Lolita character. Naive, nerdy who gets taken advantage of. And I'm going to email you the pics that she has on her website for you to see.
Send them over to me, brother.
Very exciting.
And this is, and then the other one was Gemma. Gemma is a girl who says that her main fetish is that she wants to grow up to be a toilet piggy.
All right, and
this is just an example of this universe, right? This universe is not like there's many different other types of fetishes, right? Like besides, this is just the darkest where it goes.
Yeah, another one that I found was called unbirthing.
Okay.
Like, which it's exactly how it sounds. It is.
I sent it to you, by the way, Marcus.
What's that?
Is it shoving?
All right, cool.
Is it shoving the child inside of the vagina?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of it is like comic books, or not like comics, like comic strips. I'm looking at one right now that is just fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It's also part of that goes into like they love like the big belly, like the huge belly on
Sure.
them. Even if they're not pregnant, part of this shit is just them looking for some sort of like big bellied woman. That's like part of their fetish. And I think all this stuff
that makes a lot of sense. I mean, all of the things that you guys are saying, it's complete fantasy. It's completely not plausible, you know? And that's what's so scary about the valet character. Everything that he wants to do, you could actually technically do.
Oh, dear
But how
God.
did they know that he was going to do it besides the fact that she was just scared of him?
There's other situations going on with this co-conspirator 2, and the co-conspirator 2 wanted him to kidnap, knock a girl out for him, and then deliver the girl to him, and valet was going to receive $5,000. And valet says, $5,000 and she's all yours. Co-conspirator 2 says, well, can we do 4? And then valet is like, I'm putting my neck out on the line here. You know, we can't do 4. It's got to be 5. So he's making like money transactions.
Yeah, you can't negotiate.
Yeah, no, I mean, it seems like a relatively low number anyway for a human woman.
I think so.
Yeah, you can't, I mean, you have to...
He's a cop.
A woman should cost more than a Pontiac. That's the only rule that I have.
I'm really going out on a line here, Jerry. I'm just really sticking my neck out here.
It's crazy. So I think that's one of the situations that really separates this valet character. Marcus, you have some other fantasy?
No, just I got what Henry sent me, and that is fucking disgusting.
All right, let me see a picture of this woman.
I mean, well, it's not a picture of the woman per se. It's just like pictures of her fantasy. Like
It's
this is
Photoshop pictures of her being gutted and shit.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's hitting way too close to home for me.
Yeah.
That's sad. She's just a redheaded gal with a nice size gunt, I suppose we could call it, and large droopy red bosoms.
I mean, and I found this other site called Marshman Media, which actually it's videos, and it definitely goes more towards the Cannibal Cop sides of things. There's one video called Funeral Home Boogie.
Okay.
Which is 35 minutes, and it is
Let's
obviously
suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream.
Slab. And it's just a guy fucking
And
with
that
her
you
for a
could,
while,
for
and then
example, have
fucking
the
what
power
is supposed to be a dead body.
within
And
one
these
night
videos
to
are
dream
extreme.
75
One's called
years of
Echo
time.
Love Story 2, and Hogtie Killer 10, or Hogtie Killer 10 Part 1, Homeless Shelter, Throat Slice More.
Hogtie Killer 10 Part 1? That doesn't make any sense.
There's also
Do we think that
Hogtie Killer 7 Part 2. Is that better?
No! They got the numbers all wrong.
Here's my question. Do you think this keeps people from doing these things, or do you think it encourages them to do
I
these
think
things?
in Valet's case, this is all leading up to him actually doing it.
You know, this is funny, is that I was thinking about this exact same thing last night. I was watching that. Have you seen that Ed Gein movie on Netflix?
Yes, I have.
Deranged.
Yeah, It's pretty good. It's the one that was made in like 2000. It's pretty good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it, like, you know, when the woman comes over and asks him about, like, she sees the book that he's reading on headhunters, and he's like just talking about it like it's just nonchalant. I think if Ed Gein would have had somebody to talk to about all this shit, things may not have gone as far as they would have.
I think that if you could have just found people that you know, I mean, I think he was also pretty retarded.
He was.
Well, he was.
I think he was more like schizophrenic than retarded.
He was.
And just completely fucked up by his mother.
I don't know, though. I think in a lot of cases, I agree with you, and I think it's important to, like, you know, you can get it out online, you can role play, and you can have fantasy. I don't think, like, Valet and Ed Gein, their brains weren't creative enough to have fantasy. This is a police officer. It's a very matter-of-fact mind that goes into the police force. There's not exactly a lot of, like, artistic.
And they're cowboys as well. He's NYPD. He's the guy who's looking for action in the first place.
Right, and he knows how to do all this stuff. And of course, regardless if he gets, convicted of the conspiracy for murder and rape and eating humans, he'll go to prison for stealing all the information from the NYPD database, which is really
that's the big crime, because in the end, it's all circumstantial evidence of the.
Well, something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be.
Was he? Is he? You know, then they'll go into like sex addiction and all this stuff. But then, everyone should also take a look at the Jeffrey Dahmer Files movie. It is fucking incredible.
Have you seen it?
And, yes.
Oh, is it just in theaters, or can you get it online?
It is on Apple TV. You can get it on iTunes. It's fucking incredible. It's one of the best docs I've ever seen. And it's kind of there was a great part where it's like basically when they found him, there were shots inside of his apartment that I had never seen before. And one of the things that they found when they had him is that he had a big pot going with 4 hands and a bunch of dicks in it.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, he was making a soup.
Yeah,
he was making dick soup. Hand dick soup. Yeah, hand job soup. Yeah.
Once again, the most amazing thing about Dahmer all took place in an apartment building.
Yeah.
The balls on that guy.
They have an interview with one of his neighbors who was a black lady who was like talking about how like where he lived was in like a blacks only neighborhood in Milwaukee, right next to the chocolate factory. And he went up to him, and basically at some point she went up to him. She was just like, "Why do you live here? You know, just like, why are you here?" And, you know, she's like, "Oh, you know, it's right next to my work," you know? Because that's how we talked in the interviews afterwards. And then afterwards, she's just sitting there and she's like, and I can't believe that I was his friend, and I tried to friend him, and I tried to do all this stuff, and, you know, he gave me a sandwich from his house. He gave me a sandwich, and what if it had human meat?
It did. Yeah. It definitely did.
Yeah.
Did she say how it tasted?
She said it was great. It's delicious.
That's so great.
Let me ask you guys a question here. This is another
Get some
thing.
Milwaukee ham.
I mean, that's the thing. If you get he like Thai boys, for example, do you put a Thai sauce on that meat? If you kill a white person, do you put the mayonnaise on?
No, yeah. What you want to do is you want to fry it twice so it's good and crispy. Crispy dude.
Let me ask you guys a question here. This is something I was thinking about last night after I watched that movie. Do we know of any serial killers out there that are known to have murdered people that they know besides Ed Gein? Because if I think back to a lot of serial killers throughout the years, it seems like it's a lot of strangers, a lot of chance encounters.
Well, you have, what's his name? There's a guy named Hirons, the guy from England. He killed his mother, and he had his mother's head in the back of his car.
Yeah, I think there's quite a bit of mother murder, and that was another thing we were talking about before the show with this valet character. I think it makes him worse than BTK and worse than a lot of other serial killers because he targeted his own wife. And I think that's very rude. You gotta love your woman, you know?
But you don't shit where you eat.
That's right.
Yeah. I do think I think mothers are a big thing.
Yeah, mothers are huge.
But besides that, a lot of serial killers don't kill people they know.
Yep.
Well, yeah, they don't.
In fact, a lot of them are known as, to the people they know, or, you know, like BTK was known as a loving father, you know, and a lot of these people, like to the
member of his church
them.
or an NYPD officer. I mean, that's why Valet fits the perfect description of a serial killer, and that's why I think he was really going to pull it off. There's other emails where he talks about...
It's actually, it seems like it's more personal. Serial killers like looking for people that have no one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's too personal to be a serial killer.
I don't know if that's true. I don't think serial killers consider anybody having anyone at all anyway. I don't think that plays into the psyche whatsoever. They don't look for prostitutes because they think that they don't have any loved ones. They look for prostitutes because they're out at 3 o'clock in the morning and they get into their car.
But it's mixture. It's half and half of both. That's why they look for them in the first place.
Yeah.
And also sometimes they believe that God is telling them.
Well, that is an interesting thing.
I think that's the only thing that God can do.
Well, going back to the valet story, as far as the kidnapping of the squirrel for $5,000, the guy tried to screw him down for $4,000. He went with $5,000. Valet does mention she will definitely make the news. So I think that is true. It is easier to kill somebody who has nobody because then no one's going to be, calling Channel 7 reporting somebody missing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, with this guy, he was talking about how he can hardly restrain himself, and he's like, I'm just going to knock her out. All this stuff about how he was going to. He went into great detail about how he was going to kidnap her and gag her and wheel her out into a suitcase and all these things. So, do you think that this valet case, though, if he does get found guilty of conspiracy for murder, are all of these websites, even the playful ones that you guys were discussing, shut down?
No, never. They'll never shut down.
You don't think that's a possibility?
No. You can't shut. You can't shut
website?
down. You can't.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's Russian, so they can't touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it'll never shut down. Or it'll just go under. It'll go into the Tor web.
Yeah.
There's already stuff like that in Tor, and there's Gore.net. Gore.net, when the whole thing went down with the fucking what's-his-putz with the gay porn star that killed his boyfriend and filmed the whole thing and put it up. Like that didn't shut that down. Yeah, no, it's a part of Benjamin Franklin, George Washington fought the British so that we could have fantasy websites about fat chicks wanting to get eviscerated by men slaves.
Absolutely. Let's put some nice, good conservative music underneath that. That's a brilliant point.
I mean, it's going to be Toby Keith all the way, brother.
It would be anti-American to get rid of these websites. If a person can't fantasize that they're a snake eating a child, then I don't know what goddamn this country is coming.
I don't know what this country's about anymore.
It ain't right.
You got a Barack Obama in the White House. Isn't it bad enough?
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for listening. Magustalations.
And all the listeners out there, write to us at cavecomedyradio@gmail.com. Weigh in on this controversy as to whether this guy was, actually going to do this or not. Write in, tell us what you think.
Yeah, and we'll do one little quick follow-up as soon as he gets sentenced either way. All right, guys.
Absolutely.
Well, we will talk.
In here.
How many times have you said that since you've been back? Keep in mind, he's only been back for 4 days?
4 days. I did push a woman down.
You did?
I did. In Union Square, an old woman was edging up on me like she's my fucking boss. So what did I do is I hip-checked her right into the street.
Good hockey maneuver. Any cars hit her? Was she okay?
No, she was fine. We were in Union Square. The thing was is that she was trying to cut me off on the way to a train, like she could.
Classic.
She was muscling me, and the thing is, I have a low center of gravity, so you come at me, I got little hips. I'm gonna put the hip to you.
Absolutely, I've seen
Dropped
him do
her
it.
like a bad habit.
That's very good. Ironically, you don't drop many of your bad habits, though.
No, but there is one bad habit that I'm looking to drop.
Uh-oh. What is this, Henry?
I just want to say it's come to my attention that certain sensitivities have been brought to my attention. And I just want to say that I think that as a general understanding is that they most of the things I say on this program are in a jesting fashion. I'm a bit of a joker.
Yeah, you could say
you
that.
know.
A larkster.
It's just really hard. And I understand some of the views that are expressed on this show are of an extreme nature.
Yes.
You know? But it's so hard when, you tell a certain race of people that there's a pot of gold over in a fucking end of a rainbow.
Sure.
And they dig through a bog for an hour. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I'm not saying anything bad about the Irish. I'm saying that they are curious people that are they're highly sensitive group of people singing songs about their mother.
Let me just stop you really quick, Henry, because I think you're making everything worse.
No,
we got an email recently, Marcus and I,
Yes.
and Henry. We received an email from a wonderful Irishman, a nice fan. We could perhaps read portions of the email if you would like.
Yeah, his name was like shillelaghira@gmail.com. Like
It was not that. It was not that.
That is not. Here's what he says.
It was isishigh@shamrock.gov.
Okay, you're making it worse, but that's all right. He's a very large fan, but he was slightly saddened by Henry's hatred of his people.
His name is John McConnell.
A normal, I mean, it is.
It's quite Irish.
It's very Irish.
But I am gonna say, but it doesn't make me hate him.
No, not at all. He says, really great show, fucking hilarious.
Thank you for that, John.
Just please stop being racist towards us Irish. It really bothers me. You probably don't give a shit, but some of my friends who have been longtime listeners have stopped listening to the show altogether, and I almost stopped tuning in too. The best podcast ever, really, though. Really enjoy the creepypasta episodes. You should make a full episode about the Zodiac Killer. Really interesting story. So sorry about the rant. I really am a big fan. I was just put off by the podcast knowing you guys hate my country.
Marcus stumbled over the keywords, the best podcast ever. Best podcast ever.
But I will say, yes, I am sorry that if you felt that I was racist towards the Irish, but when it comes down to it, we all,
Henry?
just keep moving on. Like,
And by the way, out of all the fucking races and people we've made fun of, it's the Irish?
It's the Irish.
The Irish are very sensitive people.
I just understand, it's like in Ireland, it's beautiful when it's sunny outside. It's just hard to be there when it's raining because when you tile your roof with potato shavings, it just leaks into the living room.
Okay.
In Ireland, they have proper roofing. The roofing actually got me.
There
That's
are
a sensitive
houses there.
subject.
They
for
don't
me.
live in
Yeah.
potato pueblos.
No, they don't.
They don't live
That's
in
fine,
potato
but again,
pueblos.
They're not some potato Eskimo type people. They're a wonderful bunch. And thank you for listening, John. And let your friends know, last podcast has thrown a peace treaty out to the Irish.
Absolutely.
So tell them to come back.
Coming for the Mexicans.
Mexicans are next. Fantastic. All right. Speaking of fantastic things, let's just discuss this. Today we're going to be talking about spectrophilia.
Which is, we did sort of a sex episode last time, but it's ugly head. The internet provides us with fodder. Spectrophilia is
Let's
the
just
idea.
give a quick definition of spectrophilia.
It's people who like and want to get fucked by ghosts.
Do they want to get fucked by ghosts?
Sometimes.
Or do ghosts just have sex with them?
The big thing is that you're just not going to go out on a date with a ghost because a ghost just shows up in your house while you're asleep. So sometimes a ghost lets you know that it's in love with you by putting its ghost penis inside of you. But
but there are some tales of female ghosts raping males. Right?
Absolutely, but that's just empty Yahoo answers, just like looking for anyone to believe that they're not a virgin.
Okay.
Okay. But I also think that where it started was that we were going to do a whole episode on hauntings research, and I went very thoroughly through the world of modern hauntings research, and it is very boring. Okay. There is a man named Ed Ozowski who was a guest on Coast to Coast who started a while ago. There was a scientist named J.B. Ryan who was the first to create parapsychology as a legitimate science. He created a program at Duke University, Dookie University, where the poo-poos go, and he
I'm not going to give that to you.
No, I don't. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But he is putting together. So when J.B. Ryan started, anybody who thought that if you thought that ghosts were real, you were a total idiot, and they treated you that way. But now he made it a legitimate science, and Ed Ozowski was a man that trained with J.B. Ryan, who he described as a true gentleman.
Very nice.
And he has created this sort of team of rivals through a place called hauntingsresearch.com, and what he does, it's like a couple of former police investigators, a couple doctors, some physicists, and they go out and they take pictures and they try to record evidence of ghosts. And here's the thing is that they haven't found any for a while.
So you mentioned that these programs are very boring. I think it's interesting. J.B. Bryan seemed to be he created his own competitor.
Yes.
With this, what's his name?
Oh, there's
Ozowski. Ozowski.
Yes, Ed Ozowski. And
so why is Ed Ozowski's show so unbelievably boring? Because it sounds like incredibly exciting stuff. You're looking for ghosts, for Christ's sake.
I sat down and watched these 2 YouTube videos that he had put up on his Hauntings Research YouTube page.
Okay.
Of which there are hours of material. And it's like, ultimate evidence of ghosts' existence.
Is it ultimate?
It is. Each one is an hour long of pictures of orbs, and I understand, I guess, what orbs are, because he puts on his website, other, really compelling photos of, from the 1880s of, people, like double exposure photos of, people standing in the background of other people, and they're like, oh, that's the old mammy from the plantation.
Right.
She's been there for thousands of years.
Yeah.
But it's like now... they just don't have anything, and so
and what
research
equipment are they using in the show?
You have your EMF recorders
Right.
and cameras and stuff like that, but it's specifically not like fun and because they want to show everybody that it's a science.
Right, but it's not a science because it's never once proven anything.
No. Yeah, you bring me a leprechaun's coat, I'm gonna believe in an Irish scientist. You know what I mean? But I'm not. I can't even believe it. You bring me the sheet. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'll believe in the ghost.
Sure.
You know?
No, that
you
makes a lot
bring
of
me
sense.
the ectoplasm in a jar. I'm gonna put it on a piece of fucking toast and I'm gonna eat it and say, "Oh, I had a spooky breakfast."
Exactly. You treat it like an Australian treats his Vegemite. You're gonna spread that right on some nice.
Right on a little girl that I've raped.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Australians are another type.
Oh, you're saying the Australians are doing that? Okay. I thought that was an
I'm just
admission
saying.
from the mind of Andrew Zabrowski of his past. And I rape little girls while eating Vegemite.
No. Once
No,
again,
no.
do not isolate that sound bit either.
Always lock up the doors. Remember that, Henry? Before you step out.
And then
lock up your brain doors.
And then I went from there to another group named Ed and Lorraine Warren. These are the guys that busted open the Amityville horror case.
Yes.
And again, to an elderly couple that was like at the top of their game of ghost hunting in 1974, and not a fucking fuck thing has happened since then.
Are they more or less exciting than this Ozinski character?
More exciting just because they obviously designed their own website, and so it is a website that has been designed by a 75-year-old couple.
And it looks like it.
Well, let me give you some background on Ed Warren. First of all, this is Ed Warren's self-written bio.
And there is a lot of Ed Warren's self-written bio.
It's all self-written.
Yeah.
Ed Warren grew up in a haunted house.
He does everything with weird capitalizations.
Yeah,
And like
there's two tildes on the ends of haunted house, and haunted house is capitalized.
Very cool.
In Connecticut, from the young age of five until he was 12.
That is a young age.
He reflects, my father, who was a police officer at the time, would often say, Ed, there's a logical reason for everything that happens in this house, but he never came up with a logical reason. My family would all go to bed just around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Many times I would hear the closet door begin to open up.
Think about it.
First, I'd look into that closet and see only shapeless darkness.
Uncle Louie eating lasagna? What are you doing in here?
Then slowly I'd start to see a light beginning to form, and it would morph into a ball shape, sort of like a basketball, and then I'd begin to see a face in that ball. That is called a ghost globule.
I made a couple of ghost globules this afternoon while I was sitting by myself.
It's also called the basketball that you have.
But in your globule, was there the face of an old woman who was not looking at all pleasant?
Just in the reflection of my computer screen.
Very interesting.
The globule would then come out into my bedroom, and then accompanied by audible footsteps and heavy breathing, the room would then become icy cold, an unnatural cold, a capital P, capital C, psychic cold.
Yes. Okay. So this kind of plays a little bit back to an episode that we had recently. If you were raped or if it was a ghost. I mean, this was the 1950s when this man saw his ghost in his closet. Do you think that he was just too afraid to tell his father that somebody's getting grabby hands with him?
No, I just think that there's just nothing going on in town. You know, that day that the movie theater that plays the one movie is like not playing the movie anymore because it burnt down because old blind Jerry was smoking a cigar in there.
Yeah. They should have had him lighting all the candles.
No, absolutely. Why put him on the emergency candle detail?
Exactly.
I just wanted to make it romantic, blind Jerry said. But on that website, they also have all this great their appearances on national television, which is they have a guy on there interviewing them for a quote-unquote television show called Seekers of the Supernatural, and you basically, by reading the other material, you find out that the guy named Tom Sparrow, who is the host of the show, is their son-in-law, and that was all set up to just them to tell their story again about how they're the only ones who know the real story about the Amityville Horror. And they called me over before anybody. You think anybody's got pictures of that house? He's like, I got the pictures of the house.
But I mean, Ed Warren isn't wrong. Fake it till you make it. This is the Hollywood tradition. He did everything right. You know?
He did, and he is now dead.
He is.
He is a ghost, so he achieved his final dream.
Indeed, and perhaps he is going out there and penetrating unwanted women who do not want it. He might very well be participating in some spectrophilia himself, which would be pretty exciting.
Yeah, so this spectrophilia stuff popped out because Marcus found a very interesting article about this concept called ghost marriages or ghost brides that he's going to get into now, and then it led straight into ghost fucking.
Yeah, well, naturally, if you're married, you can do whatever you want.
I mean, it should be ghosts sleeping on the couch because someone's in the ghost doghouse.
I mean, if you have a ghost,
someone wants to go out with his ghost friends, but he can't because he's got to sit down and go to Ghost IKEA. And he's got to get ghost shelving units for his fucking ghost apartment.
And that's going to cause a ghost fight. I mean, it's so hard. If you have a ghost wedding, does just one half of the room stay empty?
I'll get into that.
Oh,
Yes. Well, this all started from a story that I read about 4 men in northwest China who have been sentenced to prison for the grisly crime of digging up the corpses of 10 women.
You need a wife? Me dig your wife.
Yeah. That's going to happen a lot, folks.
Oh, yeah.
And selling them for ghost marriages. The grotesque brides were sold for a total of 240,000 RMB. I don't know what that means. Or $38,000.
$38,000
Yeah.
for a corpse?
Yes.
We're in the wrong business, guys.
But it's like going out with Kate Moss.
It is.
You want to pay $38,000 to go out with a skeleton. Whoa!
I liked it.
The bodies were sought by families of men who died as bachelors. The buyers were arranging ghost marriages, a traditional custom. Gay. That word's going to come up a lot as well.
So
Gay.
both parties in this marriage are dead?
Not always. I'll get into some of the different ones.
That's amazing.
Yeah. The bodies were sought by families of men who died as bachelors. The buyers were arranging ghost marriages, a traditional custom in which parents might find spouses for their unmarried deceased children so they can have a family in the afterlife.
I mean, it's a brilliant idea.
My question is like, why ruin their afterlife for them?
That's the thing.
Shouldn't they
loves
be single and mingling?
Right,
in
singling, mingling, going on, ghost.com websites, finding their ghost OkCupids and things
Boo Kid.
Yeah, OK Boo Kid is fantastic. Yeah, they're getting arranged marriage, but I mean, they don't know the personalities of these corpses.
Hey, this is not the first time this has happened in China. In fact, it has been even grislier before. Back in 2006, Chinese police arrested.
And that's not even that long ago.
No.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say back in like 13 BC.
No, like a few years ago.
Yeah.
Chinese police have arrested 3 men for killing 2 young women to sell their corpses as ghost brides for dead single men.
Well, that's smart.
Yeah. They one confessed to killing a woman bought from a poor family for $1,500.
Good amount of cash, though.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Not a bad amount of
Get her
money.
at fucking Trader Joe's. Oh, Trader Joe.
She thought she was being sold into an arranged marriage, but Yang killed her in a gully and sold her corpse for 16,000 yuan. But he bought her for 12,000 yuan, so he made a profit.
Big, a 4 yuan profit.
Yeah,
4 grand yuan.
He and 2 accomplices then killed a prostitute and sold her for 8,000 yuan. And the man who killed him said, "I did it for the money. It was a quick buck. If I hadn't slipped up early, I would have done more."
Oh my God.
Very interesting. So,
Well, yeah, because you don't need any capital. All you need to do is kill a girl, and they're already killing girls in China.
And this actually, a brief segue from that, Cannibal Cop. He was convicted on both counts.
Yeah, guilty. Don't agree with it.
All right, we can talk about that at a later
We'll
time.
talk about it at a later date.
Yeah.
So let's go through some of the ghost bride rituals here.
Well, I just want to say,
Now, what happens if the ghost bride gets cold feet? I mean, she already has them.
Right.
But my question is...
so maybe she gets warm feet.
Yeah.
She comes back to life.
No, she is a bucket of goo.
A bucket of goo. So did the people who killed these 2 girls to sell them off to men, were those men alive, or was this another ghost men situation?
They sell them to families.
Okay, so it's always 2 dead people, though, getting married.
I mean, it's
Not
a father's
always.
decision.
Okay.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You're right.
Some father in the scenario is making the call here that we need a ghost bride.
Right. But I'm with you, though, Henry, when you're like, you're enjoying your afterlife, all of a sudden you hear the nagging voice of some woman, wanting you to rub her feet, and you're like, what the hell is all this?
To rub my feet because they twisted.
Yeah, they're
Oh, I'm making tiny for you. I'm making tiny so you think it's so attractive.
All mangled and things.
Ugh.
It's disgusting.
It's horrible.
All right, what are some rituals?
Why couldn't you die and get straight feet?
I mean, that's a very interesting question.
So let's start with just
It
if
is, I
one.
wanna-
Let's
just
start.
got out of China by being
Right.
dead. You know what I mean? Being dead gets you out of China.
You
You
can go
don't need
anywhere.
to deal with China anymore.
Contract is done. Null and void. You're dead.
Well, here's what happens if someone was previously engaged and then the spouse dies.
This is great. I actually agree with this.
Upon the death of her fiancé, a bride could choose to go through with the wedding, in which the groom is represented by a white cockerel at the ceremony.
A cockerel.
A chicken.
Oh, okay.
Which is, if I ever get married, is what is happening. I'm not going. I'm getting a sub.
Yeah.
And I mean like a substitute and a sub. a sandwich for myself.
Right.
That chicken, he's gonna have to deal with the ceremony. I'll be there for the reception, getting drunk.
I mean, absolutely. Well, you need a good sub base for how much liquor you're going to be drinking.
Here's how one arranges a ghost marriage.
Okay.
If a family wishes to arrange a ghost marriage,
Hey, ghost, you come here. You come here now. You get out of my store.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
if a family wishes to arrange a ghost marriage, they may consult with a matchmaker of sorts. In a Cantonese area of Singapore, there is in fact a ghost marriage broker's sign hung up in a doorway of a Taoist priest's home. The broker announces that he is willing to undertake the search for a family which has a suitable deceased member with a favorable horoscope.
So, is this legal in China?
No. I mean, nothing's legal in China.
Okay.
Others do not use the aid of any priest or diviner, but believe that the groom the ghost bride has chosen will somehow identify himself. Typically, the family lays a red envelope, usually used for gifts or money, as bait in the middle of the road. They then take to hiding.
And he leaves several juicy ghost globules in it.
Yes.
They then take to hiding, and when the envelope is picked up by a passerby, they come out and announce his status of being the chosen bridegroom.
And they kill him. Wow. That's a very interesting
So, in other
trend.
words, Henry, what you just said is exactly what
You bride now. You buy now. You groom. You take envelope. Oh, you trap big time. You gonna marry my ghost daughter.
And once again, I just want to apologize for being racist to the Irish.
And here's how the rites go. This is the rites of the ghost marriage ceremony, and then we'll move on to the actual ghost fucking.
Yeah, we got to get to that spectrophilia.
A ghost couple at their marriage feast, the bride and groom may be constructed of paper bodies over a bamboo frame with a papier-mâché head.
I'm really glad that's not terrifying.
That's fine. Yeah, that's normal. That's a great wedding, actually.
It gets much worse. On either side of them stands their respective paper servants, and the room contains many other paper effigies of products they would use in their homes.
I'd have Garfield there. I'd have Marmaduke there.
Definitely.
Such as a dressing table, a table and 6 stools, a money safe, a refrigerator, and trunks of paper clothes and cloth. After the marriage ceremony is complete, all of the paper belongings are burned to be sent to the spirit world to be used by the couple. In another ceremony...
Now, all of this is true.
All of this is 100% true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bad wedding gift, though.
In another ceremony, that is a horror. It is paper.
Burnt paper. Well, thanks for all the burnt paper. I got a bunch of smoke over here now.
Yeah, I was just banging fucking the first fruit. I was banging Gia.
Yeah, that's the thing.
She's up here. Now I got this woman. No one married her for a reason.
Exactly. She died alone. She's a monster.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, how are you not getting married in China? Because you are nothing unless you have a husband.
Right.
You need to get a husband.
Men are the ones who die alone naturally because there's virtually, there's not enough ladies for every man.
Yeah.
So it's very common. If you're a lady and you can't find love in life, holy Christ! I mean, what has to be wrong with you?
I don't know.
She keeps burning the wontons.
Well, that's a good reason.
In another ceremony that married a living groom to a ghost bride, the effigy was similar, but instead constructed with a wooden backbone, arms made from newspaper, and the head of a smiling young girl clipped from a wall calendar.
Are his parents proud? That's what I want to know.
It just sounds like all of it's all weddings planned by the killer from Seven. It's all just Kevin Spacey became a wedding planner and moved to China.
Or the movie I Saw the Devil.
Most of the marriage ceremony and rites are performed true to Chinese custom. In fact, the bride was always treated as though she was alive and participating in the proceedings, from being fed at the wedding feast in the morning to being invited in and out of the cab to being told of her arrival at the groom's house.
You're at the groom's house now, and then she goes, "Get me out of here."
I think what they do is they just throw some rice at the calendar picture. Just like rub it in. You eat now! You eat!
Right. I mean, it just, well, that was a great wedding, honey. You know, if those people weren't dead ghosts, I would have thought it was a regular wedding.
I would say there, I would have cried, but I was screaming. But if it was real, I would have cried.
Yeah. I'm just happy Lee found somebody that he loves.
It was horrifying.
Yeah.
This whole thing sounds horrifying.
It doesn't sound quite as scary as a real wedding with 2 human beings and a mortgage and like a couple of kids.
I mean, that's fate worse than death.
Right.
I'd rather be a dead ghost groom than have to deal with that.
Yes, and then, so after a real man marries his ghost bride, I would assume, does it ever go the other way? Is there ever a real woman who marries a ghost man? They didn't mention. I would assume it's
Well,
probably.
that was the first one that we talked about.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what normally a woman is just bound forever. And she also, like, if a woman chooses, if she is engaged and her fiance dies, she can choose to go through the wedding ceremony and never get to touch another man ever again.
Right. And then, of course, that wedding night, they must make coitus to confirm the love that they have between each other.
Yeah, she just squats down in a bamboo field.
Is that how that works? And then, of course, is spectrophilia. Let's get into that subject. Henry, what do you think about it?
It just gets super erotic when you think about it. You know, because sometimes you're just sleeping there and you're just like, man, I'd love to not have to do any work towards sex tonight. You know? And it's just like, and masturbating has become a dull, robotic movement.
Boring.
Yeah.
Nobody
what do I
wants to
want?
do it.
I want the Dan Aykroyd. I want Ray Stantz from Ghostbusters. Fucking the ghost zipping on your flight, giving you a ghost sloppy BJ.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A slime job indeed. That's what you want. Basically, there are thousands. How many people do you think have actually had sex with ghosts?
Well, there's an entire Travel Channel show called Ghost Lovers that's about that.
Right. I mean, do you think tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, thousands, or hundreds? I mean, we have 6 billion people on the earth. It's a very small amount of the population.
that are alive today?
That are alive today having sex with ghosts.
I'd say you get your standard 11.
11
you know,
people.
Like 11 people are fucking ghosts right now, like for serious.
Yeah.
I don't know if ghosts fuck. That's my
Well,
big
they
thing
do.
is that I still don't particularly even understand the concept because I don't think that like I don't think you're gonna feel a ghost dick inside of you. But I mean I don't even know. Can we go through some of the more specific examples?
Well, let me read a story right quick. That This is from a seminar on like psychic phenomena.
Yes.
Yeah. So there was a seminar on psychic phenomena going on, and the speaker, he's like decided to involve the audience, and he asked like, all right, everyone who's seen a ghost, like, please stand up. And, you know, pretty much everyone there.
Because they're there.
Yeah, they're there, of course. Yeah. And then he said, like, everyone who's ever had a close encounter with a ghost, please remain standing.
Sure.
And like 2 dozen people were still standing.
Because these are people at a paranormal
But
conference.
some people sat down, though. Yeah, interesting.
And then he asked, like, how many people had been in the same room as a ghost? And it was only like 6 people.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, it's a rare occurrence.
Dwindling numbers.
Yeah. And then he asked,
why are you laughing? This is
I don't know.
this is a
I don't
story
know.
from a conference, right?
Yes. Anyone who's ever had sex with a ghost, please remain standing.
Everybody sat down.
And, no.
What?
There was one guy.
Oh,
There was one guy that stood up. And the speaker, he's just like, have you really had sex with a ghost? And the guy goes, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said goat.
Yeah. That's an old yarn.
You know, they are
they're just pulling your leg. They're just pulling your leg on that one.
These conferences are not lacking comedy. You know, that's
Actually, they distinctly do. They are. There is not a bit of comedy at any of these conferences.
Any comedy.
But I want to read the thing about the there's also I want to read the thing about the ghost sexting.
Oh,
there's
man,
ghost
I
sexting.
just got it. I thought you said
He said
goat.
I thought he said goat.
You said goat. Oh, that is too rich. Now that is funny. Make that a meme. Sorry, I thought you said goat. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's just have 30 seconds of silence. Perhaps you want to read some of the more risque phone conversations that have
Well, yeah, please, yes. Let's read some of them. Now,
You can pass it over to me if you want me to take over at any point.
this is from a woman who wrote an entirely true account of ghost sex. Her name is Gina Nyods
Lanier.
I don't know what that nickname is. I'm not even particularly sure.
Nyods?
Nyods? It's G-N-O-T-H-Z.
Oh, Gnodes.
Gnodes.
Yeah,
Gnodes.
So she writes, I recently came across a woman from California. Fucking of course, because the whole place is filled with fucking Looney Tunes and it needs to sink into the goddamn ocean.
Are you happy with your LA experience?
Oh, very much so.
Okay.
That says she gets obscene phone calls from a dead man. Paranormal telephone scatology. A ghost being sexually aroused by making obscene phone calls to living strangers from ghosts.
I can't wait to be a ghost.
Oh man, I'm gonna fucking be all over this. Or
Yeah.
paranormal scatophilia, ghost or paranormal entity sexual arousal for making obscene phone calls as a form of exhibitionism.
I just realized if the ghosts can communicate via phone, we could do this podcast in the afterlife.
Oh my god, it's
Yeah.
gonna be so gross. You think I'm racist here? I'm gonna be how racist I'm gonna be when I'm in heaven.
There's no ramifications for your actions or your words.
I'm not racist, it's satire. And I'm sorry to the Irish.
All right.
Okay.
Mary Jansen Cross says a ghost calls her every few days and gives her the dirtiest phone calls that would make a sailor blush.
I mean,
I
are
know it was
sailors still that perverted? That's what I want. I feel like the analogy needs
even
to go
more so. They are rapists. Sailors are rapists.
No, that's not true.
Sea rapists.
Sea rapists?
Continue
on the ocean.
Sure.
Well, you know, I mean, that's why they don't let women on boats. They're just full of semen.
You know what? Let's just continue on with the story.
Who says this isn't a funny subject?
I just fucking got it. Goats.
Said a goat.
I thought you said goats.
He fucks goats. He's a goat fucker.
Oh, I get it. That's how ashamed he was of having sex with a goat.
This is what she says.
Very
See what
proud
it
of
says.
it. I mean,
This is also reeks of a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
A stand-up comedian ghost. I know it's from a dead man because he used to call me when he was alive. I even had a restraining order put against him while he was living and arrested 6 times because of it. His name was Dan St. Germain. When he died, I thought it was all over. Gotcha, Dan!
Gotcha, Dan! Fuck you, Dan. That is true love, though. 6 times arrested. I mean, this is romance.
So I had my number changed several times when he was alive, and even more so now that he's dead. The calls are more than just suggestive. He openly tells me to do things to myself as well as what he wants to do to me, states Cross. The phone companies cannot trace the calls to any direct source.
It's coming from hell, ma'am.
You can't live without a phone these days, but I wish I could live without the dead caller making sexual innuendos to me.
the call's coming from inside your vagina.
Interesting. We've all said that.
Slamming against my cervix. Oh, I fucking love it. And then, do you want to listen to this interview with a first-hand account?
But this is interesting, though. With the phone sex, I think if I was forced to have sex with a ghost, I think I would enjoy the phone sex better or more than actually being physically penetrated or having to have sex with the ghost. I mean, I think to a certain extent, this man is being very polite.
I just imagine this woman is dressed up as like a librarian from the 1930s. She's never had a man touch her.
Definitely
and
not.
She just doesn't even understand what's happening. She's like, I don't think she understands she's getting a phone call from like a real person. She doesn't understand sexuality in any way, shape, or form.
Maybe a similar
no one's
voice.
ever touched her vagina in
No,
any
she
way,
keeps on
shape,
having
or form.
restraining orders on everybody that loves her.
Yeah.
He probably just asked her out on a date.
Yeah.
6 times, and every time he got arrested. It's
I understand. It depends on how you ask someone on a date.
Sure.
You use the aggressive posture when you're like,
let's fucking Yeah,
you're going to get different reaction.
Absolutely.
And so when you're
I would go on a date with you, though. If you
well,
asked.
it's different.
Right.
Because you like people with a lot of energy.
That's
Same
true.
thing with me.
Right.
You come at me, you know?
Yeah.
You say to me, oh, I'm going to trap you and torture you for sex.
Sure.
I'm going to be understanding, hey, you're taking it out of my hands. I'm lazy. Thank you.
But something more like trouble you for a date, madame. You know, something like that that's nice.
Is that what you say?
Trouble you. No, I do not say that. But Kevin and I were out at a bar. Kevin Barnett from the Round Table. We're out at a bar, and that's what somebody kept on saying. Trouble you for a dance? And we were making fun of that guy.
Yeah?
And I'll tell you one thing. He's going to end up with a bunch of ghost brides because no real woman will ever fuck that dude. Anyway, that's a nice romantic gesture. Trouble you for a date.
Yes. Yes. But these ghosts don't understand that.
That's right.
Because, again, they're in free love afterlife.
Mhm.
You know, where they're just slipping. There's no penises or vaginas.
That's right.
Everyone energies are just passing through each other. It's like the 60s up there.
It is. It is. I agree.
You want to hear about one ghost fucking a lady down here on God's green earth?
I'm going to really say this right now. If you're going to listen to this thing, it's pretty steamy. It's some pretty steamy stuff. So it's like
50
if
Shades
you're
of Ghost.
listening to this on headphones, take those headphones, put them in your vagina.
Don't put him in
Right
your
now.
vagina.
Take your headphones,
That's
put
not
'em
even-
up inside of your vagina, turn the bass up.
Turn the bass up. You want
You're
to get the
turning the
vibrations
bass up.
going. Get that vibration going in your vagina.
All right, make her come.
Now let's listen to this sexy woman talk about how this ghost raped her and why she is undateable.
I mean,
When
she's full of
events
stories.
started to happen, I was actually living in New Jersey in a condo by myself.
You can hear it in her
I was
voice,
22
yeah.
years old, and I was working as a bartender in Manhattan. So a lot of times I wouldn't be getting home.
Oh, by the way,
until,
she
you know,
stars in her own
from bed
reenactment.
until
Which I
5
love,
or
yeah.
6 o'clock in the morning. I was laying in my room on my bed alone.
Just asking for it.
And I felt something heavy in the air almost.
Was it Ben?
It just felt like the room was getting darker. All of a sudden, I just felt something on my legs, just almost like a warmth, almost like a tingling, something just touching my
Again,
leg.
sounds very similar to Dan St. Germain.
I kept getting all these weird sensations over my body, just weird tingles.
Yeah? Where else?
Warmth almost, tingling.
good peeing on
my
you?
arms.
Ooh, a ghost
I
pee.
felt
Yeah.
almost something breathing on my neck, like somebody was actually kissing me.
That's my move.
I felt somebody grabbing my arms, pushing me down on the bed. My heart started to race.
I mean, this
my
is just a
breathing
fantasy.
became deeper, and
You were
I just
raptured.
went through all the motions.
Your
of
eyes have
actually
changed.
Having a sexual
Yes.
encounter with somebody, and I felt heat. I felt energy up my legs. I mean, I felt something touching me. I remember that. I remember that.
Has this woman been with me?
No, she said she feels something.
It's so hard to explain unless you've experienced.
Yeah, she is
because it's
full
through your whole
on
body
coming
and
in
it's
the
the warmth that
reenactment.
comes
Oh yeah, because
almost
remember
from
she's getting raped by a ghost
the
in the
inside
reenactment.
out,
Yeah,
and
she loves
you
it.
feel
It doesn't sound like
sensations
rape
in your
either.
skin and
She
inside
wanted
through
it.
your body, and you feel just almost encompassed in this warm, loving energy.
She wanted to say ghost jizz there, but it's
She didn't say globules.
The entire
So
time
when
we
does
were
he
having
dirty
sex,
Sanchez
I
it?
felt
He can't.
touching.
That's
I
what's so
felt
sad.
energy. I felt heat everywhere. I felt
is like
it
Ghost,
through my
the movie
chest,
Ghost.
on my breasts.
Wait, say that again?
You
What?
literally have sex. I mean, you are breathing like you're having sex. You're moving like you're having sex.
Oh, it
You're
sounds like a
feeling
mild stroke.
Something get inside.
how's your
of
eyes?
you.
Are
You missed the thing when it's getting inside of her. It gets inside of her. Hell yeah.
It eventually
she's
turned
thrusting.
into an orgasm that was so
Yeah.
intense through my whole body. It just was amazing.
I need this in my life.
yeah.
Can this happen to me?
Orgasm, it's literally from your toes to the top of your head. It's like
She's
just
coming right now.
She's delighted.
entire body. It's almost overwhelming.
I gotta be ghost milk.
I think this is gonna be too hot for some of our audience
Once you
members.
realize
I
that
think
you
so.
can do that and have that experience, you want to have it again.
Of course.
Naturally. It's just tough to summon the ghost.
What if it was Mengele?
The doctor.
Yeah, man, she got that ish from a ghost pimp.
Yeah, I can only imagine some of our listeners being like, why can't they get back to like the David Parker Ray kind of sex? Like, that's the kind
That's
of sex
genuine
I
sex. This is genuine, like, she got seduced by a man ghost.
Yeah.
What if it's Abraham Lincoln?
It could be anyone that you
I heard
want
he
it to
was
be.
a fucking slammer in the bed.
Absolutely.
With his bony hips just digging in a Mary Todd. And she was just like, oh, give me a son. And he's just like, oh, I'm going to shoot my top hat. And then fucking came in her eyes.
No way, he was gay.
No.
Oh, yeah, Lincoln was gay.
Can you imagine the
Gay.
stinky Civil War dude sex going on between Abraham Lincoln and his, like, boy servant?
Sucking on those sweet balls, man.
Oh, God. What
Barrington.
his, like, unkept balls, just covered with, like, wiry black hair.
His hairier, his chin or his balls?
His balls, just a
Definitely,
big,
right?
thick muff of just a halo of barbed wire.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, this chick, she sounded
Dick just like reeking of lamb meat and his jism smelling like old beer.
Oh my God, yeah. A ghost. I get it, a ghost. So interesting. Well, this woman certainly had, I'm not sure if a ghost had sex with her, but she definitely had a great dream.
Something
and-
happened to her.
Good Lord. And she sounds hot. I did not see the image of her. She sounds like she has a nice shaved vagina, which
She's
a
pretty
ghost
cute, actually.
love.
Yeah, she's pretty cute. You can see why a ghost wanted to rape her.
A bartender. I mean, it's possible that she was actually raped, but, let's not go into that. I mean, she's not covering up any sort of actual
No, because she
criminal
loved.
activity
She
that
still
might have
loved it.
occurred.
I felt if she was like really tearful, you could say that she's trying to repress a memory, but she's not. She clearly enjoys the memory because you can hear her sploosh go.
Right.
As
She
she's
was literally
speaking.
getting wet as she was talking.
Absolutely, I'm getting wet.
Yeah,
But I'm also, it's hot in here.
Right, you're sweating.
Yeah, I'm
It's a
sitting in a
wet-
puddle of
it's
my
a
butt, my
wet
butt
butthole.
juice.
Butthole.
No, it's
Yeah, because our butts don't get aroused from sex, right?
No.
not
Okay, that's
usually.
just poo poo.
Although sometimes I do like to bend over and let my asshole air out.
Okay.
It's kind of
This is
Yeah, no, that's gross. We've gotten away from spectrophilia, which I like much, much better than that mental image. As a matter of fact, I'm angry.
But
You
I've
said
heard
that,
several
Marcus.
instances of this happening. I think it is a thing that happened. You hear talk a lot about like succubi and incubi and,
Sure.
and how again this is just how Yahoo Answers proves it's had sex.
What is the difference between a succubi and an incubi?
one is for a male, one is for a female.
So the incubi is
Male.
the woman that sucks out the man's
This
soul.
is an incubi.
No. Succubi is a
woman that
that
sucks the
goes
man's
to a
soul.
man. Yeah, this is an incubus.
Yeah.
Incubi is the plural form.
It's like the band.
Yes.
Yeah, and they do this too. What they do is, like, I've heard that that's where the term actually started, is that the band Incubus would put on sheets and just go into groupies' houses and eat their pussies.
That
I've
is
heard
exactly where this comes from.
Absolutely, I've heard that.
No, I just heard it.
I read that.
I don't know if you read it. You could write it down. And
I
then
will
I'll read
do it, and I'll do it. Pull it in my live journal.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
which is fart dungeon /livejournal.com.
Oh wow, yeah. Make sure to check that out. As a matter of fact, Marcus, can you Google fart dungeon?
Of course.
And see if there's already one there taken. I hope not, because I really want you to have that website, Henry.
There's fartdungeon.tumblr.com.
Oh, okay. So there is a fart dungeon. Oh, that's good to know.
Hey, it's not bad. It's the art of John Eric Garcia.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, go there. It's pretty good.
Fart dungeon.
Oh wow, that's a plug that we didn't expect to give.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun to see.
Yeah, it's a there's a rooster in a varsity outfit covered in blood.
Wow, that's actually kind of fun.
And he's huffing and puffing.
Into
Oh,
our
man.
Chinese wedding situation.
That's
That's
pretty
good
good.
to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's the groom at a Chinese wedding.
Yeah, Chinese ghost wedding. That's very exciting. All right. Well, I guess, is there anything else on this topic that we should delve into right now?
I'm just saying, leave yourself open to ghost sex, I guess.
How
you know,
lonely do you have to be in order to usher a ghost
Quite
into?
lonely.
Quite lonely.
Absolutely. So this is good for us. This is good for what we do. So just go out there, wear something sexy to bed, and leave the face cream at home. Try not to watch too much of that Judge Joe Brown while you're lying in bed before going to sleep,
I
because
agree
that's
with
just
that.
a sex killer.
It is.
Yeah, put heels on. Put some heels on.
Well, you go to sleep.
Oh yeah, a man or a woman.
Okay.
Yeah, leave your dick out.
Sleep just like Carmen Electra did when she was dating Prince. Little known fact with that, Prince made her sleep in an evening gown with high heels and full makeup.
Yeah.
Wow,
so
it
sleep
is-
just like that.
Yeah.
It is very difficult to date Prince.
It is very hard.
And she had to go to a different wing of the house to use the bathroom.
Yes, Prince is quite the asshole. Nonetheless, and of course, if you have any ghost intercourse experiences, let us know. We would love to
Oh
hear
my God!
about
If
it.
you fucked a ghost, please.
Yeah, kcomedyradio@gmail.com, please.
And
do it as steamy as possible, because I like that's what I think we're going to start taking this podcast in a steamy direction.
Yeah, 2 in a row. And in
Super
fact,
erotic.
I mean, I want to read one
that's what
more
our-
email.
That's what our listeners want.
Yeah,
They do.
I want to read one more email before we get
I'm
out of
rigid
here.
hard.
What's that?
I'm just full hard.
You're full hard right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
You're poking a 3-incher out.
Oh yeah.
That's good.
I got a full red rocket going on.
Oh, yeah. He's got a dog.
Again, I'm sorry to the Irish.
No, they're fine. Everybody forgives you, Henry. And as a matter of fact, I thought the sense.
All miserable.
All right, hey everybody.
I'm just tired. It's fine though. It's a Sandman podcast.
We're people. People get tired. All right, that's Marcus. I am Ben. And then to my left, is he awake? Is he asleep? Which one is that? Oh, he's asleep. Oh, he's just asleep, Marcus. I don't think we're going to have Henry for this episode.
That's fine.
That's okay? Can we do it with...
pancakes in my head. I got pancake in my head.
Henry.
Hand or head?
Okay.
How am I always here? I always wake up here.
Holy Lord.
I'm sorry.
All
Is that a lot of energy?
No, that was fine. You were
With
having
the top?
Yeah. No,
I was having a dream where I was Abraham Lincoln, and I knew the bullet was coming, so I took a bunch of blueberry pancakes and I put it in my hat to absorb the fucking bullet.
Did it work or did you die?
No, I always die every time.
Every time.
Because history has already been done. All time is a wheel. All times that happened before are happening now, and the things that will happen are already happening.
Well, you know what? Let's save it for the second date. But Abraham Lincoln, quite the cursed president, and that plays in well with what we're talking about today. Cursed objects.
Now, this idea came from Ragnar, our good buddy, out in some fucking Nordic slum that he lives in. What is his name? Iceland. Yeah. And he's
Reykjavik.
and he
I like it when he writes in Icelandic on Facebook. I always like it.
Yeah, I do the same
Like,
thing.
oh, that's fun. Lol.
Well, I go live long and prosper.
He's like, that was when my grandfather died. I'm like, I don't read your mud language.
I like to translate it in Google Translator and then write a response and then translate that back into Icelandic.
Which is just like Icelandic. By that point, it just sounds like when the fjord goes to the stir.
Exactly, but thank you, Ragnar, for giving us this idea for cursed objects. So, let's see. Should we
Cursed
just...
objects. What about my resume?
Good point. Too real. Marcus, do you want to go through some cursed objects? You've done quite a bit of research here.
We'll start with the one that Ragnar sent to us, the Codex Gigas.
Now, what I love about this thing, which is Latin for the big book,
Wow.
which is they just made a big old book, and they're just like, y'all, I'm pretty sure this book is too big to be in a library. And he's just like, well, we just call it the big book so people know what they're getting into.
That's right. It's always important to know what you get into.
And that is exactly how monks in the Middle Ages
Oh,
sounded.
y'all, you know,
y'all. Put butter on it.
You know, I ain't never seen a girl.
Best muffins in town, those monks. Full of carbs and cows.
Well, the scribe of the Codex Gigas was a monk who broke his monastic vows and was sentenced to be walled up alive, which was a popular punishment back in the day.
Solitary confinement.
I just feel like after a while with the
Yeah. That's just aggravating. I'm trying to watch the fire over here.
God, let's put up another wall.
Yeah? How many walls is
Ezekiel?
I would imagine the person probably bashed their brains out against the wall before they died of starvation.
When they're building the fourth wall, can't you just like jump out of it real quick? Like, get on out of there.
Like Urkel did in the 9th season of Family Man.
Exactly.
In order to forbear his harsh penalty, he promised to create in one single night a book to glorify the monastery forever, including all human knowledge.
Oh, wow.
Which at the time, how much would that be, Henry? All human knowledge in the Middle Ages?
Oh, 165 pages.
Yes.
That's what it's 165 pages long, right? Something like that. It's like, and it's like 100. It's like 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Is this how David Icke also wrote The Biggest Secret? Just overnight, methed out of his mind.
Well, near midnight, he became sure that he could not complete this task alone, so he made a special prayer not addressed to God, but to the fallen angel Lucifer, asking him to help him finish the book in exchange for his soul. The devil completed the manuscript, and the monk added the devil's picture out of gratitude for his aid.
So Satan's in the editing game?
The same thing happened.
Like the Penguin publishers of demons?
Yeah, when Diablo Cody went through the process of writing Juno, she had to go through the same thing and send it in. They had to cut out the back of it, which is a big flap of human skin, with a devil kind of just etched onto it. Home slice.
I like that.
And part of the curse is it is said to be a night watchman who was looking over the book one night was found dead in the morning. And I think a very more real curse is it was being held in some sort of library a few decades ago, and in order to save it, they just threw the fucker out the window, and it hit a policeman.
Oh,
That's bad.
That's
bad. If that happened in Compton, it would have started a race war.
Think about that. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's true. I don't know if there's books in Compton.
Whoa,
buddy. I'm
what
just
about
getting
our
real about
Compton listeners?
I'm just talking about socioeconomic politics, and we need to get more books in Compton. They need to get the big book.
Next one up is the Woman of Lim, which is a large stone statue of a big old dick.
What?
Oh, how is that cursed? I feel like that would give much pleasure to many people.
Yeah.
The first owner is believed to have been a Lord Elfont.
Oh, yeah, he always gets the dick statues. He was big for the dick statue business when he was Lord.
Bigger. Oh, I couldn't possibly have something so small. Make it bigger.
Yes.
It was
Oh, I wish I could live at the tip of it. So I would be like the Captain Seaman of my fleet of gooey jizz.
Oh, wow. Lord of the Jizz.
It's dated to 3500 BC.
Okay.
So it's quite old and found in Cyprus. So he...
Full of perverts.
Lord Elfont, history does not explain in the manner in which he died, but all 7 members of the Elfont family died within a 6-year period.
Sir, they all have big dicks in their ass? I don't know what it is. We better get Detective Popcorn
It's the kebab killer.
And the dick statue has, and if I may call it by its proper name, the Woman of Lim.
Yes.
So it's a woman with a dick for a head.
Oh,
and it actually finally someone I can talk to.
It looks like a plucked chicken, like a chicken that you may eat.
Are there tits on it?
There are no tits on it.
No tits.
And it's just got a long neck. Yeah, you can see it.
Dick for a head. Very interesting.
Oh, look, it's the Purdue chicken. It looks like a Purdue chicken.
That is a Purdue chicken.
Yeah. So the Woman of Lim tends to wipe out entire families After Lord Elfont, there was Sir Alvin Biverbrook.
Man.
His family was wiped out.
Incest-ridden British.
Different time, you know.
And then Lord Carnarvon.
Oh,
yes. no.
The starter of Carnival Cruise.
Yes.
No.
Very
Actually, no,
quick
it was
rides.
not Lord Carnarvon. Lord Carnarvon was the man who was said to have King Tut's curse.
Oh.
And it
What
is
was that?
found these
a lot
days.
of moles. I feel like King Tut has a lot of moles.
Yeah, I think
He was
so.
13.
Yeah.
And probably retarded. Like most
likely.
pharaohs were.
Yeah.
Well, what it said about a lot of cursed objects, what we're finding out now, it's just that they're old objects filled with deadly fungus.
So it's like a black mold situation.
Yeah, Lord Carnarvon apparently succumbed to the curse. News of the evil spread like wildfire. We've talked about mummy curses here. But people, it's now believed that he died from a simple fungus that lived on the mummy wrappings. And when these men shaved each morning, opening the pores of their skin, they unknowingly infected themselves when they rubbed or scratched their faces.
That's the thing I'll never understand by 1920s culture is all of the shaving. There was just everyone, you were shaving in the wartime, you know, like Hitler got up every morning and he shaved. And
Perfectly shaved.
it's like, why just let a long, scraggly beard grow
You're
if you're
at
out in
war.
the desert? Gotta go. When I wake up in the morning, Ted Koppel.
So is the
Ted Koppel.
The weed has made you respect Hitler more.
No, that's what's happened to me. Henry Zabrowski.
That's Hong Kong Henry Zabrowski.
Man, Ted Koppel impersonation. It's just weird to start the whole thing with it.
I thought it was a great impersonation.
Is that good?
I'm fine with it.
I'm gonna get on SNL.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna
no,
get
no.
there.
No, you did.
Lorne, you need a 400-pound man. Is that it? Is that good?
Yeah, no, he's gonna love it.
Let's Ted Koppel on one of the Was Up commercials. Man, he was sorely needed. Is he dead?
No, not
Ted
yet.
Koppel, no.
I mean, just on the
Do they
inside.
even wheel him out for special events anymore?
No, I think he mostly stays at home. He had quite a scandal go on. But, of course, he was big in the news. And the news media this week, it's been full of gaffes, bloopers, and it's been a real shit show. CNN completely messed up the Boston Marathon bombing, and that's what we're going to start off
CNN,
with today.
fuck the whole thing. Basically, we were going to come at you with, and I know that I was excited as much as other people were excited to do some coverage on alien implants and various butt rape made by
Definitely.
aliens in space because it's fun, because it's nice to read about, you know, because it's what's really going on.
And the kids love it.
The kids love it.
But
But
much
what's coming down to is that, but now, thanks to our news media, we have to cover what's happened.
And aliens will be butt raping, and aliens will be, getting rednecks, picking them up in the sky for a very, very long time. So we'll
Same
definitely
time,
have
though,
time to get to aliens.
We've got the government making stuff like the Boston Marathon explosion happening in order to cover up what's really going on.
Which is?
Which is aliens butt raping the Harlem Globetrotters.
Really?
The Harlem Globetrotters are right now, they are being terrorized by aliens.
This sounds like a Scooby-Doo episode that got denied.
Yeah,
That's
because
pretty
of all
great.
the rape in it.
Who
That
was
like
it? They
that-
take off the mask and it's an alien wearing an alien mask?
Yeah, and he's got a big hard dick, and so he's like, ruh-roh, and then it's just like fucking face fucks. Fucking Scooby? What's his name? Yeah, Scooby, right?
Scooby-Doo.
Does he have a kangaroo pouch?
No, he's a dog.
He's a dog.
He's a dog.
Dogs
Yeah,
don't
they
have those.
Oh, I
Not
always
even
get
Great Danes.
confused.
You know, it's interesting. CNN covered the story so poorly that it almost makes Alex Jones covering the story so poorly seem better.
Yeah.
So
You know?
I know that you guys covered some of the straight information on Top Hat.
Yeah.
Recently. So we are now today
Although
is for.
I'm fairly certain we pinned it on Sasquatch.
Yeah, we
But-
did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we.
So today it's 420. First of all.
I'm so stoned. I want to go.
Oh yeah.
International Pussy Eating Day.
Is that right?
Yeah, bong hits.
You know what? I want some weed instead. That would be nice.
So it's 4:20. Last night, in the wee hours of the 9 o'clock in the nighttime, we saw them, the orchestrated theater of law enforcement, go and capture the final refugee. What's his name? With the 19-year-old.
His name is Zokar Zarnayev.
Oh yes, he's Klingon.
Yes, he does sound like
Drahar.
Yeah.
Karkar.
And his brother who was killed was named Tamerlan.
Tamerlan. Well, that's
Tamerlan.
a nice name.
Yeah.
So he
It's like a festival place that might have roller coasters. Tamerlan.
Tamerlan.
That's nice.
Yeah, get a funnel cake and
there.
fucking blow up some runners.
Oh,
I don't like that other
Tamerlan.
part. I don't like that other part.
So
I'm
the
here
bus-
for the elephant ears. You can imagine there's just some super fat guy in Boston sucking down one of those ho-hos that he got while watching the marathon, and just like a piece of like glass or a nail landed on. He's like,
Some ruined my hoagie.
my hoagie.
My hoagie.
It is terrible.
Yeah.
They should have just more baseball games. That's what I say. Less fighting, more baseball
Up
games.
the baseball games.
Boston was an absolute horror show. It was if it was written by Sam Raimi or what's the other fella, George Romero. Everyone was on lockdown all day yesterday while they were hunting for this guy.
Meanwhile, we have the basically while we were reading it, it's like you got your lame stream news media.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
That's
We're
not
looking
lame,
at
that's a Sarah
the lame
Palin line.
stream. We're
Come
looking
on.
at the New York Times, liberal rag. You know what I mean? And they're out there. They're trying to be responsible with their news sources. They're fucking not making snap judgments like a bunch of pussies. When I go on Infowars.com, I get the hard, straight, fucking real info.
He's got a lot
Alex
of time.
Jones
Yeah.
is on the front lines out there.
By the
and
way-
he's digging in.
Yeah, and he's given that real concrete speculation.
Oh,
The largest conspiracy theory that I discovered this week, though, after Googling Alex Jones quite a bit, there is not one website that doesn't claim that he was born in 1974. He pretends to be 39 years old.
He's got
That-
really good people.
There is no way Alex Jones is 39 years old.
I think that his hairpiece is 39 years old.
Yes, because he got that at 23.
It was Sammy Davis Jr.'s.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, for a long time. He retired it, and then he picked it up.
I didn't know you could get secondhand hairpieces.
Oh, yeah, especially from people of different races than you.
Isn't that something?
It's very easy.
What kind of race do you want to get? A nice little Asian wig?
No, Pocahontas.
Ah, that's beautiful. You're going to be
Full
gorgeous.
Pocahontas braid.
Well, I would love to be John Smith and be with you always. So what was Alex Jones talking about?
Okay, so first of all, like back in the day, like, when this first started, 4chan started a big campaign, like surveying a bunch of surveillance footage, and pointed out these various people wearing, like, one wearing a hat with various insignias on it, and
The
carrying
skull like the
backpacks.
Punisher wore.
Yes. And he said that the 4chan made a big deal about it. InfoWars hopped on and were like, these are the suspects. Then the Post pushed those pictures that they found on 4chan. They put it on the fucking front page. It's like a bunch of morons. And ruin everything.
If you were not Irish white and you were wearing a backpack at the Boston Marathon,
They were
4chan
up
took
your
a
ass.
picture of you.
But at the
and
same
you
time,
were a
it's
possible
the
bomb.
Boston Police Department. They already were.
Right.
You know what I mean? Anybody who was brown there to begin with, there was 9 of them.
Yeah.
That weren't runners.
Well, you better be
at the
running
front of the pack.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because that's the thing is that they're beating everyone in the marathon. You got a couple people from Kenya. They're destroying everybody, and then they get in a helicopter and get the fuck out of Boston.
Well, I think that's why people from Kenya do so well at the New York City Marathon and the Boston Marathon. They're just legitimately terrified of the NYPD and the Boston cops.
so
like,
they're
we just gotta
just-
get
they're
the fuck
booking
out
it.
of here. As
Yeah.
soon as we're like done with this race, we get back on the plane. We go to the safe haven of Ethiopia.
Well, absolutely, because cops are looking at him, going like, give him the eye, like point at him, like I'm watching you, you know, and they're like, oh, it gives me the inspiration.
Hey, non-white, you better be here for sport. You better
Yeah.
be here for sports. That's the only way. That's the only
he's-
time we like you.
Most of the time he's training, he's got a bag of sausages tied to his ankle, and he's running through the jungle.
Think about that.
He's got tigers coming after him.
Yeah, exactly. That's
You know, so these people are used to danger. That's why they're making record times.
They're doing
You know?
amazing.
But so where the conspiracy started, again, it was a horrible national tragedy.
Yeah.
Moment
Yes,
of silence. I'm going to put that out there as well.
We did
But
it,
I
yeah.
think that what happened here was a very useful event for our government to show just how powerful they are. I think that's what this turned into. And so InfoWars kind of hopped on the 4chan like suspect wrangling. It turned out to not be the suspects, of course, because then the guy who got his leg blew off like pinned the guys who actually did it because they found the surveillance footage. They showed them dropping off the bag, blah blah blah. But
Of course,
with it,
Rupert Murdoch made quite a little goof because he put that on the cover of the Post, which was amazing.
yeah, and then the idea was that what they found with these surveillance photos is that they were actually a part of a privatized military group called the Kraft. And now the Kraft,
Not
what was
to be confused with the 1996 movie starring Fairuza Balk.
that I mercifully jerked off.
Oh, so much. So these guys can't turn their hair different colors by just waving their hands over.
They
it?
really can't.
Oh, these guys are worthless and weak.
Absolutely,
They
yeah.
can't. They couldn't plant a bomb.
Life is a feather, stiff as a bull. Life is a feather, stiff as a
Oh,
bull.
I love that. You just go rock hard.
Oh yeah, that's
Without-
what I did. I already was though.
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't need that.
We used to play that. That reminds me of a memory in 8th grade. We played that game, and everyone was getting lifted up and stuff. And then I did it, and then they couldn't lift me up.
Yeah,
so
you
then magic
break
wasn't real.
magic.
Yeah, it was sad.
There's a weight limit on that spell.
Yeah.
But basically,
Every time I go into an elevator, I'm just like, light as a feather. Dip as a board. And just hope it raises up.
They found out that these were a part of a top secret military, sort of like Blackwater, which was
Not
like this.
that top secret.
No, because they have a website that we
They have
will
a
read about. Let's
website,
read
they
the.
have a uniform, and they have an insignia and a logo.
And their logo is surrounded by their motto: no matter what your mama tells you, violence does solve problems.
Yes, to their point, it does.
Yeah, and this is from thecraft.com/aboutus.html. Thank you for choosing Craft International to meet your training needs.
I'm going to find them on How About We. How About We go blow up the Boston Marathon.
As a military or law enforcement professional, we understand your time is valuable. We are honored to be able to share with you the lessons learned from our instructors, whom have walked in similar paths as yourself, and some of whom continue to still do so today.
Only men.
Through these lessons, experiences, in-depth studies, pain/sweat/tears, and in some cases, blood.
They're murderers.
They have set forth a curriculum rooted in solid fundamentals that have been time-tested and proven under a variety of operational conditions.
MK Ultra, my friend.
Our goal with our courses is to do one thing: make you better by giving you the skills necessary to dominate your opponent and win. It's never about what we have done and where we have been, only how well we can articulate it all to you. We strive to be true teachers and not merely instructors. We are humbled to be a part of your continuing search and refinement of your chosen craft. Thank you for your continued service, dedication, and associated sacrifices made in protecting the great nation at home and abroad. Respectfully, Chris
This
Kyle,
is a very
President,
long-running sentence.
Craft
Like,
International.
who even edited this website?
But I think that the last sentence of that should be, this message will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Yes, but it's like they are. No one's talking about this group of people that were at the marathon. I honestly don't think they have anything to do with the fucking bombing whatsoever. But what they're talking about is that what they said, which is broken on Infowars, about this idea that they were constantly reminding people in the crowd that there was a drill going on, there was some kind of bomb drill, which is again. I mean, it's normal because
it's a fairly common thing to do.
It's extremely common.
It's a perfect environment to train people because you have all these, you have your bomb dogs, you have all this stuff that you want to do, and it's the perfect environment.
By the way, if they did have bomb dogs, that's your last day on bomb dog duty.
I think so.
How don't you find 2 bombs? I think
Yeah,
there were 7 bombs.
Yeah, we're cutting all of them.
Get out of here.
It's the Bad News Bears of bomb dogs.
Yeah.
So these fucking this ragtag group of bomb dogs that decided to come and pull something together for the fucking championship game.
Boys, we came out of here to win the big game, and you blew it.
You blew it. One dude
That little boy is dead.
because of you, Roscoe. Because of you. What? One dude just brought his fucking wife's chihuahua because she was like, he'll be great at sniffing out bombs. Bring him. Just had to bring the chihuahua.
But they pulled a lot. Infowars kind of covered all this. Basically, the idea, they ran the major storyline that it was a false flag operation in order to get our guns taken away from us.
Yes.
In order for Barack Obama to create the NWO, to come down there, and we won't be able to defend ourselves against, we won't be able to have our rifles against, the many helicopter super stealth drones that the government has.
Yeah.
That we could definitely defend ourselves against with just having some guns.
Right.
Being a 45-year-old, 350-pound man with a handgun, you think that you'd be able to handle when the tanks come rolling through.
Yeah. No, it's going to be I think you mostly just want the guns around to off yourself, so the government can't take you alive.
Yeah, but what they're saying is that it's also the other thing is that it's a distraction, or supposed to be a distraction from certain laws.
Because then CISPA got passed, and then
it passed the House, but hasn't passed the Senate yet.
But the other thing that they were saying too about what disproves the whole thing is the fact that gun bill didn't get passed. They didn't pass the background check. So it's like, what are you talking about, Alex Jones? It didn't happen. Your fucking worst nightmare didn't happen. They're not taking your fucking guns. I'm sorry. Yes, you have to keep changing your Wikipedia page because everyone's telling everyone that you're 54.
Right, you have to do it. You have to do it. Another situation that they think is a conspiracy is, of course, with the drones and all the extra cameras. There's a large push right now with the Bloomberg administration and shit like that to get more drones up in the sky with cameras. And as soon as this happened, that was an immediate response by a lot of people.
Because again,
we need
look
more
at
cameras.
Who benefits, right? If it's a false flag operation, who benefits? It's like, yes, it's an easily exploitable event. It is a thing that's like, I looked at it last night. We watched live as they arrested the guy, and it's looks like the end of Ghostbusters. You have, first of all, just the idea of, I feel like they're getting us used to the image of tanks rolling through American cities. Like, you look at all this footage of just tanks rolling through Boston. Like, officers, like, climbing fences, like, up in your people's backyards with sniper rifles, doing all this stuff. And then and then in the end, like, once it's all done, they have all of this, like, it looks pre-edited, like, shots of the tanks rolling through the city with this group, the people of Boston, like, applauding and, like, loving it and partying, and it's all these drunk dudes, like, drinking beers and go like, "Wow, you insane!" Like, doing this thing, and it's like, it's a propaganda film.
It's a trashier moment than like a Chavez situation when we roll through the streets of Venezuela and everyone in Boston is just tanked. I thought the reaction after they caught him was kind of weird.
Yeah,
The whole thing reeks to high fucking heaven.
Here's another thing that I noticed. I watched. I was switching. I had yesterday off, so I was switching between Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN all day long, just kind of cycling through them, seeing what the different perspectives were, and they would start to run.
The Jackson 5?
Was it Jackson 5? Because if that's the case, I firmly believe they are aliens.
Well, they were
Joe
just
Jackson was
abused
the only one
children.
tough enough to whip those grays into shape.
They were abused professional children.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're like aliens.
But the thing is, it also just shows how carefully placed abuse can make some of the best pop stars who ever existed.
Look at Rihanna.
Look at her.
Look at her doing
She's
great.
only gotten stronger.
Are we recording, Marcus?
Yeah.
All right, that's Marcus. I'm Ben. With us as always, who's that fella to my left?
Oh, don't hit me no more, Chris. Don't hit me no more.
Oh, so
wait a second.
Rihanna.
Wow. That's Rihanna. Is that me being Rihanna?
No, that was great.
What song does she sing? I'm Rihanna. Oh, is she the one who does like shine bright like a diamond?
Yeah, that's her.
Shine bright like a diamond. That's me. I'm Rihanna. Henry
You are
Zabrowski. What happened here?
I thought it was great.
I think we're just sliding into a chasm here. The train just popped off the tracks.
I think it's pronounced chasm.
No, I did like chasm though. My goodness, man, I'm so excited for this episode today. We're going to be talking all about aliens, and
We're finally back to some real news.
And this actually does feel like the most real news that we've ever covered before.
Some real stuff.
Were you here for last week's episode?
Some real stuff we're going to get into today.
Real
You know what I
things.
mean? Some real things, some important hot button issues. First of all, before we even get into this, I'm just going to first like, no, 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 no. The truth is out there.
Oh, that was your X-Files
I've been watching a
theme?
lot of X-Files recently. I've been drinking White Russians, smoking weed, and watching X-Files every night before going to bed.
You know, that's a really healthy thing for someone of your psyche to do.
I drink about 2 jelly jars full of White Russian before going to bed.
I love that a weight of measurement for you is a jelly jar. How many ounces
how I do
is
both.
in a jelly jar?
I don't know. How much jelly can one eat over 6 months?
A lot.
I've been also upping my jelly intake.
Good.
But I'm getting focused.
Well, I'll tell you, whatever past life your toilet had, it was bad. Because your toilet is currently living a toilet hell.
I really think that my toilet was Mangala.
Yeah, it must have been. It must have been. So let's
Because
talk.
I am just fucking poop raping that toilet.
Well, I'm sure he's figuring out everything that's wrong with human beings.
I must have took a 6-pound dump the other day.
You know what? Let's edit it out. That's disgusting. No one wants to think about it.
So today,
all right.
Today we're getting into a new subset of the alien genre of
Yes.
thought, alien implants, and also some of the meaning behind alien abductions. Sadly, it's got not a lot to do with the reptilians today. The big thing
Not
is
too
also
much.
to remember, like when we talk about this, is that we have what the government, refuses to reveal.
Absolutely. They're
properly.
weak-minded.
But we've had close relationships with up to 12 different alien races. The reptilians are just one of them, from Alpha Draconis. And yes, they're a part of the NWO. That's a whole nother thing, But then again, who am I to say? I'm just a puppet. You know what I mean?
just a
I'm
puppet.
just another radio puppet of whatever reptilian ghost is floating in my brain right now.
Absolutely. So let's start off talking about the grandfather of this sort of alien implant type situation and whatnot, a fellow named Whitley Strieber.
Now, I listened to one of the most compelling episodes of Coast to Coast I've ever heard in my life. Whitley Strieber was on recently. He's been on Coast to Coast many times for years. He's one of the most important figures in alien research.
What makes him so important in alien research?
He wrote a book called Communion, which was also turned into a movie starring Christopher Walken, which is terrible. But he...
How was Walken in it?
He's stuttery and walking. He's just walking. He's Christopher Walken.
Right.
He has been playing Christopher Walken like a minstrel show for approximately 30 years.
And by the way, can I just say this? No more walking memes.
No.
I'm sick of walking into a bar. This is me walking, whatever. No more Christopher Walken puns. I'm
He's
over it.
done.
We
I
get
met
it. His
the
last
man.
name
He's
is
very
Walken.
mean.
He's a mean man.
He's very mean.
And he hates his woman. What's that?
He did kill Natalie Wood, who's a fucking murderer.
He's
so
a
everybody
murderer.
who's listening to this, if you live in Los Angeles, go to his house with big signs that say, Christopher Walken, who murdered Natalie Wood?
Question mark.
You
did it.
You
You did it. No more. These boots were made for walking. No more walking
more of that.
memes.
He's a murderer.
He's a murderer. He's a killer. And he was mean to Hong Kong Henry
No
Zabrowski.
reason to be mean to somebody who's got such a sunshiny face.
Yeah.
Somebody
Exactly.
who only walks around just want to put a smile on people. Only want to tell people about how, maybe, a different alien race is inside of you, and that's
Sure.
why I don't like you. We're going to get to that.
We will be getting to that. Okay, let's go back.
So, Whitley Strieber,
To Whitley.
he wrote this book, Communion, which is about his various abduction scenarios. I'm just going to read through where it all started with Whitley Strieber.
So he was actually abducted.
Yes. He was a well-known author. He wrote several horror novels. He wrote the Howling, the book for the Howling, or there's another one. It was several werewolf books that got turned into movies.
Before Twilight and all those other werewolf movies
before-
destroyed the werewolf.
And Hemlock Grove. Ugh.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Is that show bad?
They're raging home. Why are werewolves
It's
all
like
gay?
an Abercrombie and Fitch ad turned into Twilight style bullshit.
It's awful.
Eli Roth is done.
Well, Eli Roth just directed the first episode of Hemlock Grove, and he's getting a bad rap for it. It's awful. The werewolf is a badass beast creature from hell. Let's start making him right again.
Yes. All right. So Whitley Strieber, he had a cabin in the woods. I forget exactly. Oh, it was in northern New York.
Okay.
And he experienced one night an incredible abduction. It was 1985. He was a security conscious guy. He was like this very paranoid, weird guy.
Survivalist of sorts.
And he even said on this interview is that he was the last person in the fucking world who would ever cop to the idea of aliens being real. He thought that anybody that believed in aliens was a fucking moron.
Right.
And he said he specifically said it in a drunken argument with his brother-in-law. His brother-in-law gave him this book randomly, just being like, aliens, the truth in space. And he was just like, fuck you, you're a moron, I'll never do this.
Oh, that's when you pull your sister aside and be like, why the fuck did you marry Tim?
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Because he's got that long dong, Whitley.
You know what?
And
Conversation's
he
done.
fucking makes
Conversation's
me
done
squish
now.
in my bottom.
Okay, well, you know what? That's fine. He's a nice guy. I don't care anymore.
Let's just get through Christmas.
Jesus Christ.
So he activated his security system at 11 p.m. on December 26th. Also very interesting.
In 1985, what was the security system? Just Twisted Sister would play?
It was
Somebody
a bunch
opened the door?
of cans. Yeah, a bunch of cans tied to a thing of Kirk Cameron. Yeah, a big life-size cutout of Kirk Cameron in front of the door.
Yeah, Family Ties just starts playing on the TV.
Yeah.
Well, someone's in my living room.
So his alarm system goes off in the middle of the night, but his wife doesn't wake up.
Okay.
He wakes up, and he's like, there must be something. Someone's robbing my house. Someone's coming for my novels.
Think about it.
It's not true. No one ever robs a novelist.
No.
He walks down into the living room, and he sees a creature. Next thing you know, he wakes up, and he is in his woods.
Okay.
He's out in the middle of the woods. He's got a pain in the side of his head and a pain in his pain in his foot, and he has no idea what happened. So basically, he comes home. He thinks he's had some kind of episode, and he goes to a doctor. His doctor checks him. Basically, his diagnosis is that he had a seizure.
Okay.
So something's still not sitting right. He's incredibly uncomfortable all the time. He keeps
Not a
flashing
hemorrhoid.
back and dreaming. Not a hemorrhoid.
Okay.
No, he wasn't Ed Larson.
That's good.
Man, his hemorrhoids are just too fucking it's like you could see the redness of his hemorrhoids through his pants.
Yeah. Just watch a video about an orangutan's butts, and it's pretty much Ed Larson.
Don't do that. Don't you
I'm
curse
sorry.
me like
I'm
that.
sorry.
That's the one fat man physical ailment I do not have.
Yes. So he goes to the doctor. The doctor checks out all over his
he's like,
body.
well, maybe you had some kind of seizure. So he goes to a hypnotist eventually because he keeps having these nightmares. And in this dream, basically in this session, he is visited by 4 different alien races. One is a tiny robot. One is a short, stout, fat little man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Not me. I wasn't there. Could have been a doppelganger of me.
Sure.
Or the prototype of me, if we want to say my DNA strain was built from some sort of alien hybrid race. Or
You could say that.
I keep jumping forward.
Or a future version of you that has traveled back in time.
Yeah, exactly. The superhuman theory, exactly.
Did these aliens
Human
make
astronaut.
him less greedy? Did he learn a valuable lesson?
No.
Was he no longer a miser
Well,
after
no, I
they
mean,
visited?
it ruined his life like it ruins everybody's life.
Oh,
it seems.
okay.
So they
not such a
stuck
Christmas
a
Carol
needle
ending.
into his brain. They stuck a needle like through his eye into his brain.
Okay.
They stuck a tube up his asshole. And they put an implant in his ear. And what he said is that during that time, two humans dressed in lab coats came out of from the side areas, and they opened up his ear and they put in this white disc into his face, right? And ever since then, he would be as the years progressed in that cabin, constantly abducted.
Was he doing something to get abducted? Was he out there like people doing ghost adventures? Like, where are you, ghosts? Come on, aliens! I'm out here all naked and things with his asshole up in the air.
Well, the thing was, he said that he kept it secret for years. He didn't tell his wife that he was experiencing these things because he was pretty certain that he had been raped. He was like, I had been raped by a man in the woods, and my brain is processing it this way. He still refused to believe it.
And if you want to know, like, what do I keep secret in life? Like, that's one of the experiences you keep secret.
You do that if you've been forcibly raped
in the woods.
Oh yeah, that's sad. It's just like you can't be like, oh, how's Gregory doing in school? Go, oh no, he's doing really good. I was raped yesterday. Oh, that is a shame.
Isn't that bad?
I can't believe that. You're a grown man, huh?
And then it's just weak like that.
He forced you down like that? Were you just yelling a bunch?
Maybe
Set the scene for me.
Did you think that you wanted it? Did you? At any moment, did you enjoy it?
Were you wearing a fishnet top, you fucking slut?
Yeah, you know you can't wear those at night. So Whitley is not admitting to himself that he is violently raped by aliens.
Yes, and basically, like, over time, it keeps happening over and over and over again, to the point where he finally tells his wife. She says that she's experiencing the same thing, where it's like she'd wake up in the woods, and it got to the point where he's like, I need to make some sort of peace with these creatures, or whatever's going on. He called them the visitors. For a long time, he would never even say the term aliens, because then again, we live in an alien-shaming, society.
Sure.
Because if you want to believe that the MJ-12 set this up fucking in the 1950s, which is the idea that in order to fully suppress the idea that aliens are abducting people or visiting Earth at all, is that you have to ridicule anybody who says anything about aliens.
Right.
So essentially,
MJ-12?
the Majestic 12 group that were a part of the original alien cover-up crew over Roswell.
Okay.
Well, that's a whole other episode.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
All
later.
of these are we could do 9 episodes just in what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
So Whitley and his wife
so
raped
interesting,
at night.
and they start trying to commune with the visitors, and got to a point
What a
where
relief, you know. As soon as rarely as a man, when you find out your wife has been raped, are you like, thank God.
Oh man,
Because I
you
thought it was
too? That's beautiful.
mate. Like they got to bond over something that usually tears relationships apart. But
I
this
just
was
feel like
really
if the Night Stalker had just dressed up like a big alien,
right. It would have been
it
perfect.
would have been almost fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, but he came to terms with it, and now he sort of supports these visitors coming.
Okay.
For a long time, he could almost conjure them. They would sit and they would try to make contact with visitors, basically just thinking about it, which is now you'd call remote viewing. He didn't know that they were doing it at the time, sort of projecting your consciousness up to speak with the visitors.
Just a deep meditation type situation.
Yes. And that they would come, and he'd bring scientists from all over the world to stay at his cabin. They were seeing stuff. He said this fucking crazy story about how he would specifically brought this again, but then it's always an anonymous person that he brought to his house because his job is too important to remotely be connected to anything alien-wise. He was an editor of a big-time magazine, is what he said. He came to stay at the
magazine.
cabin. Cracked.
Yeah, it was very,
Back
very
when it was
fun.
still in print, and
Absolutely.
Alan Smithy was on all the covers.
Yeah, exactly.
with it.
Relevant. Cracked was
Yeah,
very
it was the head pussy hair editor of Butt magazine.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He was
pretty
doing
amazing.
very revolutionary stuff.
Yeah.
Why does Butt
Making the
magazine?
pussy hair look super brown.
But why does
great.
Butt magazine need a pussy hair editor?
Yeah, because it
In the background, in
because
the
it comes
foreground.
through in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's set dressing.
That's a tough job. You do want to keep your
So you're
alien
sitting
level
there, it's
fair
oh, you got all these curly cues all in the way of your butthole track.
secret. Let's just clear the path right here.
Sip.
That's right. I remember the big hairy butt 70s, but it's the 80s now, boys. Let's get it done.
Strip it clean. Oh yeah, you can eat off that fucking taint.
So he's bringing. I don't want to know how you eat.
I'm sorry, that's what I do. If you're ever with me sexually, that's all you're gonna hear. It's like a carnival.
That's the police coming because she's scared and
I make
naked like a Dahmer
so
victim.
she knows it's an emergency. You know.
So he brings a bunch of very high-end, very influential people to his cabin in the woods.
Yes. So the editor is sleeping down in the basement. He has another separate couple sleeping in another room.
Okay.
He basically, they're all asleep. Whitley's asleep. He doesn't experience any of this. The couple see an entity like in the room. It pops up in the room. They wake up and there's a full visitor in the room.
Okay.
And they've seen it several times now, so they're like kind of calm with it. They're like, okay, they were just like, we know we know you're here. We give you permission to be here, like granting it like psychic thing. And they were like, is there something that you want me to do for you? The visitor said to him, and he had the whole house wired with cameras so he could try and capture this.
But
shit.
this is still 1985.
This is 1987.
So
it's
the
like a
cameras aren't
90-pound camera and a beta tape.
Mm-hmm.
So as they were like, if you could do something for us, could you walk down the hallway to downstairs, go downstairs to the editor's room and show him that you're here?
So what they met an alien from another world. You could ask him anything. You could ask anything that he would want to do.
Because at this
and they wanted to play a prank, though, for all intents and purposes, on the editor.
They wanted to do a candid camera thing.
Can you scare my buddy?
Calm down.
You're not, he's gonna love it. He's gonna love it.
Barry's gonna get a fucking kick out of this.
It's gonna be crazy.
What he didn't know is that
no, I don't want to know the secrets of the universe.
they had lined that whole hallway with banana peels. So it's like, and you should see there's several YouTube links of like the Benny Hill theme coming on, and some alien is like, whoa, like slipping down the hallway. So he walks past the cameras. Of course, nothing gets caught. But he walks down to the editor's bed. He sits on the end of he wakes up and there's an entity sitting on the end of the bed. And then Whitley describes that sometimes what these aliens do in response to fear is that, like anything, we'll talk about this a lot just in terms of abduction scenarios, like altogether. It's like anything. It's like people who have visions of the afterlife. Your brain makes things the way your brain wants it to be.
Right.
Like when you watch something, you're gonna get whatever you give.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when these visitors experience human fear, what he says that they do is that they reflect it back. And so when he popped up, he was incredibly scared.
Sure.
He saw this entity on the thing, and according to him, it had its back turned to him, and then it turned to face him. And its face turned into this fucking hawk creature face, this like crazy huge thing, like literally and then snapped and disappeared. And he literally ran screaming from the house. So he was just like, they came out to him and he's just like, I can't fucking be here. I can't deal with this shit anymore.
He scared the alien away.
Yeah.
Always remember, the alien is more scared than you are.
But you're gonna see this a lot in all abduction scenarios. You're gonna see people seeing cartoonish UFOs. Like in one abduction scenario, a guy looked out his window and he saw 2 raccoons the size of tigers in his tree. Like they were sitting there like in his avocado tree, and then the next thing you know, he wakes up and he's in a field.
Well, that happens in Mexico.
That's just
raccoons
what
are
happens.
huge over there.
Absolutely. Or just a man in a raccoon concert did like a costume, just like got done like handing out menus for some sort of raccoon themed garbage pail restaurant.
Yeah, it's a good restaurant. You got to check it out.
Raccoonies.
Yeah, right. I love raccoonies.
You just dig through. It's just like trash cans just filled with stew.
Yeah.
Just dig your hands in it. It's okay. Go lie. You lie.
Just $5 every dip. You're like, hot. Oh, that is good stew.
It is good stew. I'm so glad. Ooh, apple cores. And so he experienced this a heavy amount for his entire life, and then of course,
Whitley was the one who saw the 2 large raccoons, or this is just
that was another scenario that involved like implants, and he basically,
and we'll get into implants here in a second.
In a second, it shattered his whole life. He even says this. Like everybody who's experienced this sort of alien phenomenon, as we know, we've talked with like Jeremy Vaney, like all these people who've experienced these type of things, their life is never the same. He's been bankrupt like 4 times.
Was he
lost the
successful
cabin.
before this?
Yeah, he was a screenwriter and sci-fi author, and then he wrote Communion, which was a massive hit. And now he's just been dragged through the mud for years and years. No one believes him. He's really reasonable. He set up a bunch of stuff. He made that pilot that I put on the Facebook page, Alien Intent, where he tried to make his fucking research squad like they were a bunch of superheroes, which they're not. They're just a bunch of 50-year-old men.
Sure.
And it's ruined his life.
Right. So now Whitley you mentioned earlier had an implant placed in his ear. Did he ever go to the doctor to figure out
He went to
what
a man
was
named
going on with his implant?
He went to a podiatrist named Dr. Roger Lear, a friend of his.
Podiatrist? What do they do with their feet, right?
He keeps saying podiatrist whenever they introduced Roger Lear, and he created a website called alienscalpel.com, which covers all different sorts of implant research.
And Marcus, you have some information.
Let me
just in general, implants. That is what is now being considered the main evidence of alien abduction.
Okay.
A lot of people experience this.
So it used to be anal bleeding, and
I mean,
now
anal
it's
bleeding
implants.
is still in there, but now the implants are just like what you could say is like actual evidence. It's not just, you're ashamed of your rape story. You know, this is things that are found in people. Whitley was telling a story about not just his own implant, but a man that he had met, because it's like now what his job is that he runs this thing called his website is called unknowncountry.com. Okay. And you can report sightings or encounters there. Anything from a CE1 to a CE5. We'll get in that later. And he's, people come to him constantly. And a man came to him. Basically, he had an implant in his chest that he didn't know was there until it was fucking with his radio. He knew that he was having abduction dreams, and that one day it's like every time he turned on his radio, it would be like static, and all this stuff it wouldn't work anymore.
So he just didn't care until it was messing with his Mets game.
Yeah, basically.
On the radio.
Basically, yeah, because it's his son's college tuition is riding on that game.
Right.
So he
should never bet on the Mets. Never bet on the Mets. His son didn't go to college.
I mean, he has an implant.
Yeah.
So he went to Roger Lear, and they basically found out that he had this implant that was giving off an FM signal inside of his body. They dug it out, they analyzed it, and it was made out of this meteoric iron. Iron that's only found on meteors that we've discovered from other everything that's landed on Earth. And that by the time they pulled it out, it didn't have any sort of FM signal anymore, but they saw it. It literally popped up on the screen when they gave him an MRI.
And then it was on Hot 101.4 or something. That's
Feels
cool.
like I'm walking on booking gas.
Thank God I love this song.
You wouldn't if
He's
you
on
listen to it
fucking
24
repeat.
hours a day, every day.
So, but it's very interesting what they found, and the same thing. Whitley Schreiber also had an implant put in his ear, and then what we said they carved it open. It was a disc in his ear. When they cut open his ear, they went to retrieve it. It moved. It moved down into the bottom of his ear, through his cartilage. And they got a piece of it, and so the same thing with the other implant.
Did it move on its own, or did they shove it down there? Was it a living
I mean,
organism?
he's a podiatrist.
Right.
When it comes down to he's a podiatrist, he's just hacking into people. Get
Right.
that shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
do you want to hear some of Dr. Lear's credentials?
Oh, of course.
All right. Well, he is board certified on 4 different boards here.
Wow.
The National College of Foot Surgeons.
That's good.
The American Board of Podiatric Sports Medicine.
Yeah, which means he can smell athlete's foot.
Yeah.
It's like a dog, like a bomb-sniffing dog can smell a bomb. He can smell athlete's foot.
The American Board of Foot Surgery.
Oh, right.
And the American Circulatory Society and the Society for Non-Invasive Vascular Technology.
Well, that's a long one.
He is one of the world's most important leaders in physical, or it has been said.
Oh, yeah.
He
Drunkenly at a bar. By his mother and his father.
That he is one of the world's most important leaders in physical evidence research involving the field of ufology. He and his surgical team have performed 15 surgeries on alleged alien abductees. This resulted in the removal of 16 separate and distinct objects suspected of being alien implants.
And I'm going to start putting up pictures of these alien implants so you can get what they look. You can see what they look like. They're very interesting looking.
Just a quick, more or less safe than a backroom abortion? His implant surgery.
I mean, it's essentially like me doing it.
Right.
You know, like if you let me get a shot, I mean, I'll get it out.
Sure.
I don't know about
Might
what
be
the
gnawing on
aftermath's
it like
gonna
it's a
be.
fruit or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll drop it on something. Drop it in my burrito. I got a fucking taco in one hand, the other way, and I'm just like, what is this? What is this thing?
No, he's legit. He can eat and do this.
I do all my surgeries with a meat thermometer. I'm just like, poke, 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 poke.
And by the way, Dr. Lear has logged over 1,000 hours on television, including The Osbournes Variety Show,
Oh my God.
Journey into the Void, show number 7, The Bronx Bunny Show.
What's the Bronx Bunny show?
don't want to
I
know.
don't know.
I don't know. It
Yeah,
sounds like
I
that
don't know.
BBW show Goddesses on Queen's Public Television.
Yes.
The Paranormal Borderline Show, Let's Talk Paranormal with Tracy Peters.
We're the only good ones.
Yeah.
We're the only good paranormal program that
It's
exists.
Donut Wednesday on Let's Talk Paranormal.
And of course, 101 things removed from the human body.
That's hilarious.
Which also just include like light bulb. It's just like 100 light bulbs of people's asses and then an alien implant.
Exactly. Somebody just loves sitting on fluorescent.
But the one thing that they found about the one thing that's crazy about these implants is that they're covered in these protein strings, these like thing they call like filaments or cilia that are alive. And so they're like whatever locomotion happens with these implants could come from these weird strings on the outside of them that are made totally out of organic material, but they're woven into the metal somehow.
Right.
And the other thing is too is when they find them, they're always they're encased in flesh itself, which is a very strange thing to see inside of a muscle. They were saying that, like, human skin doesn't grow inside your muscles, like the actual like what you have on the surface. And they found these things wrapped in skin. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's very strange. It's like, where the fuck do these things come from? Are they tags? You know, there's a lot of theories.
Yeah, a lot
Do
of
we want to go through some of the alien scalpel
Let's get
message
in-
boards?
Oh,
Yeah, let's get into
absolutely.
the alien scalpel message board. Marcus, you said you looked at over hundreds and hundreds of comments.
Yes, I did. I went to alienscalpel.com, which is Dr. Lear's website, and he has a wonderful message board on there. And here's one from Nick. Hello. Last night, I believe I was abducted and tested on by aliens of the Kutak-R planet.
Well, that is just, we already know it's I believe a movie said Pleiadians.
Yeah.
Sure.
At least that is the only thing I can remember them saying. I woke up confused.
That's what
and
you could remember?
I think they were just choking on a chip or something.
I woke up confused and in very slight discomfort. I felt as though I had sore muscles on